call the meeting to order. It's 8:06. Dennis is here from the task force. Mike, Danny, Sharon, and I.
I have a question, process one from the last meeting. One of the sort of opening statements you made was that you had an agreement that we were moving to a city council case manager form of government. When was that decision made? Because I don't
First
remember.
meeting
But as a decision?
for the task force. Yeah.
It's basically
First
what's
meeting.
going
You didn't
on.
say it in that form, which is why I'm questioning you. And I'm not questioning
So,
what the decision is, I'm questioning the process.
so the first meeting, we said,
Yeah.
before we even get started, maybe we ought to get a few things straight.
Mhm.
Do we want two things? The two major things was, do we all agree that we should go from the strong mayor to the council manager form of government? And the other one was that we wanted to appoint a city clerk treasurer instead of a city, because that's going to make a big difference on how we start. Everybody agreed with that,
Okay,
those two things. So that's when we made that agreement.
okay.
Well, we don't really vote on anything here, we just get consensus, so.
And then remember, and as we have been looking for a new city manager,
Right.
remember, we had that presentation on the idea of being a council mayor, is that what it's
Council
called?
manager.
Yeah. And then we had the conversation on the very first day, well, isn't that what we've been doing all along? Or attempting to, when we had all three branches in effect? So we don't want to have one overpowering the other?
Right.
So
And that's the term that's,
I can answer that. We've kind of followed that model, but the charter doesn't read that way. That's the difference. That's why the mayor had all powers to do almost anything in our charter. If you really read it, everything goes back to the mayor has power to do everything.
So are you going to put a statement in the document that is going to be then discussed by public, the two public hearings?
Yes.
There'll be a statement.
Well, I
that
don't know about
says
a
that.
statement,
There's
but-
got to be something, because that's a change, a big change.
Well, the two big changes
Yes, I get that.
are what I just talked
And
about. We-
They will both have to go in some form, you can't just slide those in.
it's under form of government and voter qualification, section 4.
Okay.
So when we come back to that, can you want sticky note?
No,
Okay.
it's fine.
Well,
I just want
yep.
it to be heard.
Yeah, we're not really trying to slide anything in. I mean, my
It is what it is.
My take
Yeah.
is when we do have the public hearing,
Mhm.
first thing we'll talk about is the two major changes, unless we
Okay.
make more than that,
Cool.
are these two things. And this is how we
Yeah.
directed it. And if you look at the working draft, it's going to include that.
Okay.
I don't know about it, but I mean, people are going to certainly be aware of it.
So long as they're aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just needed to decide what direction we were all heading
Okay.
to get started. Otherwise, you can't do anything in this document.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so I think when we left on Monday, we said, Mike had asked, when we were having all the conversation about the roles and responsibilities of, we were on the city council, and you said, could you guys just put your thoughts together and present them to us, and we'll go over them, and then we'll continue with city manager. So yesterday morning, that's exactly what we did on my kitchen counter. We had paper everywhere. Jeez. And my husband split, got out of it. So then what I did was, so that we can be focusing on those three, for lack of a better term, branches of our city government, I gave you just section 9 on the mayor, just section 20, what's the city council? 22, 23, and then just 40. So let's start with the city council powers, section 23, since that's what Mike had recommended, and that's what we tried to do.
Okay, I got 2 of the city manager and none of the council. Is there enough extra copy? Thank you.
I hope, and if not, Terry can make a copy. Right there.
There it is.
It's probably right where my printed out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So all that I printed out was the actual roles and responsibilities, separating out the city council. I did not print out for all of us all the stuff that's got a line through it, even though it is there on what we're calling our working document. But that was 5 pages, so I didn't want to print out 5 pages.
And what you see that's in just regular print is what was in the current version. It's not a change. Anything that's in the blue
We reworded
Was
or we
either
rearranged
reworded
or
or
we did
changed.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, and I don't, and again, don't pay attention to the formatting, like number 1 should not be underlined. That will take that
But
out
it's,
right now.
but it's basically what we have discussed, I think, on the council.
As we look over the roles and responsibilities of city council.
The thing that I find missing from it is what was in a separate section, but also described that one of the powers was contracts.
Was that in the original contract?
It
You have
doesn't,
a whole group of subsections in the charter, which is what the complaint is on the city council. So
Well, we
you,
went through most of those.
section
And if it
10,
said the
section
city council was
29,
responsible, we tried to
23,
put it in.
27.
so in section 10, it says, "The action of the Board of Aldermen shall require the approval of the mayor, except as herein otherwise provided, for enacting all of the ordinances and bylaws and awarding of any contracts, the appointment of any officers or," but the contracts is in section 10, that they have that power. And then that is missing.
Wait,
That
my
is
number
missing.
10 says to prevent immoderate riding or driving
No.
into
No,
regular.
10, section 10 of the
Charter.
charter.
Okay, so we haven't gone back and done that yet.
Okay,
We just went with section 9, 23, and 40,
okay.
so that we can have a basic outline of the roles and responsibilities. Then when we go back to all those sections, we can say, that should be with the council, or that should be, and we'll add those in and do our cutting and pasting. Does that make sense? Okay.
Because you're losing a lot of the power.
Exactly. Well,
All
I
you've
get
done,
it.
all
Yeah.
you've done is the ordinance power.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
We
It's
just
a little
tried to clean
confusing.
up those sections, knowing that there's probably redundancy with some of these other sections.
So,
But we'll see. Okay. So now, task force. If we left off with, we needed to rewrite the introduction. So let's start with that part. The city council shall have the power to make, establish, alter, amend, or repeal ordinances, regulations, and bylaws not inconsistent with this charter or with the Constitution or laws of the United States or of this state. The city council, now we added this, we took it from other places throughout. The city council may from time to time establish, modify the change, and terminate other boards, committees, and task force as may be necessary or beneficial for the administration of the affairs of the city. Okay, comments on that?
I'm fine with it. I don't think you need may from time to time. It's just the city council may establish, modify the charge and termination of the, you know,
From time to time?
that's kind
Okay.
of antiquated language.
Danny, you okay with that? Are you okay with that, Dennis, taking that out?
And by charge, you mean what they're charged with doing.
Okay, so we're picking up those three words. Charlie, you okay with that, picking out those three words from
Yeah.
time to time? So the city council may establish, modify the charge, and terminate other boards, committees, and task force as may be necessary. Dennis, do you have any comment on that? On the way that's rewritten now? Okay, and then,
Should it, just to make it equal, they modify the charge of and terminate other boards?
I like that, yeah, set it in, and terminate other boards.
And
Committees and-
terminate, I guess, boards.
Do we need the word other in there?
I don't think so.
Are there other boards that are not elected?
Or in state statute.
Well, let's see, we have Board of Civil Authority. we
Oh,
have-
most-
Those are elected.
Yeah, those are elected. Are there,
Planning commissions, elected, lots of commissions.
Planning's not elected. It's appointed, right?
Planning commissions elected,
no,
Yeah,
it's appointed, isn't it?
is it?
that's what I meant. Appointed. What'd you ask?
Well, what boards are there that are not elected?
Not
You
elected.
can't, Just terminate.
Planning, zoning,
but you
Board of
can't,
Civil.
but can you terminate those?
I don't think you can terminate the planning commission, for
You
instance.
use the term establish, and then it's only ones that aren't established by state law. So it may establish, modify the charge, or terminate.
Or instead of and,
I would think so,
city council. May
because you might have one pre-existing you want to get rid of.
Well, you can,
I
you can really get rid of the planning commission.
Well, no, I'm thinking of the Harbor Commission, which probably is going to be in the charter itself.
Right.
Yeah, if it's in the charter, you can, but if it's not in the charter,
Yeah.
because you don't have to have a planning board, you don't have to have a zoning board.
Oh.
That this should be established as a board. At some point.
Well, it's saying the council may establish.
Right.
So if the council is establishing, then it's something that the council has put together.
Mhm.
So they put together,
Like
so
the
they can
statute.
change the charge or terminate, they could terminate this task force,
So
any committees.
what if we
So it hasn't-
change the language to say terminate boards not required by the charter? Would that
Well, they can
cover
only
that?
terminate a board that the council would put in.
Right, but wouldn't all the other boards be established
Well,
by
it says,
charters or
it
ordinances?
says above, not inconsistent with this charter.
Okay,
And then when it,
so that's where the
City-
other comes from. The
the
other
city
is-
council may
Right.
establish, modify, terminate other boards.
I
So
think
there
that-
is a section here that says not inconsistent with this charter.
So I guess then if we leave other, that covers it.
Are we okay with
Or we could put not inconsistent with this charter in that sentence too.
the city council may establish, modify the charge of, or terminate other boards, committees, and task force as may be necessary or beneficial? I think, doesn't that cover it if we put the and to or? It's giving you the, if something comes up and we have to establish some kind of board, again, we don't know in the future, we don't know.
Like all your task forces.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's, I think why
Two of
we,
you.
Yeah.
are we okay with that? Other duties of the city council shall include, and that's when we're going to start looking at the duties or roles and responsibilities, however we want to say it, of the city council. Striking through 1 through 30, which was what we did on Monday. Because they're either antique or they are covered in that first statement. However, we left in question 31 for you, Dennis. Are you there now? To control the erection of buildings and other structures on the shores of Lake Medford, Magog within city limits, blah, blah, blah. Isn't that zoning, not council?
It's also state law, that depending on your high water mark, whichever side goes into either the water resources or the
So it's
land.
not a responsibility or duty of the city council?
No. There is, you need, I would say no, but you need to check because we're the only inland water besides Lake Champlain, because we're the only inland water that has mooring management zone. So I'm not sure if that changes any of the other regulations, but in general, there are two divisions of the state. One does above the high water mark, one below.
So it still wouldn't be a role of the council
No.
though?
No, it's covered, I think, fully by statute.
That's what we're trying to do,
Yeah.
eliminate stuff that doesn't
Yeah,
apply.
I'm not an attorney, I guess, is, you know, I work in that
No.
field, but
Yeah.
All right, so then the numbering got messed up here. Tried to fix some of it, and it got messed up
You got
with
1,
what you
3,
did.
2, 3.
Well, because when I added what you did,
Yeah.
when I,
So it's my fault.
yeah,
Okay.
I can fix it right now. All right, here we go.
In one, do you mean sale and purchase and sale, or not? By
Point, direct, supervise, and remove for cause the city manager, city clerk, city attorney, and
Oh, I
city
got a
treasurer.
different
The
one.
an- the answer to that is no, we deal with that elsewhere in the charter.
And we do deal with it. But what are you looking at?
I'm looking at the city council powers. One, it says general oversight and control of city-owned property and
Yep,
affairs.
yep, yep. And where did that go?
Hmm?
Sharon,
Why isn't mine on
can
there?
you move the microphone a little toward you? You're getting some feedback. There's like a line.
Oh, right there, general, right
No,
there.
that's
I need to move that. I moved it on your copy, I didn't move it on mine. I don't know why that did that. Okay, one, he's down here now, to here.
What are you trying to do?
Okay, so the first line, the first duty we had said, and this is what we left off with last time, general oversight and control of city-owned property and affairs as being a responsibility of the city council. Yes? Remember, that's what we worked on.
That's just a generalization, but that's what we tried to do in here anyways. And anything that needed more explanation specific, like purchasing, and that kind of stuff is going
Gonna
to
be
be
a
in its
separate
own
section
section.
of the charter as it is now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Well, I mean, it does have city council powers, and somebody might think that all of them should be in there. Or an allusion, or, you know.
As might we might all decide that too,
Well,
that it needs to be under this section when we get to that. Let's go through what we have
Oh,
here and
that
see how it's,
section, yeah.
how it is. So, when we talked last time, when we were going through all those strikeouts, we tried to, or Charlie had done some categorizing. And general oversight and control of city-owned property. Okay, now, so I'm gonna say that that does make me a little worried with the word control of. Because control of could mean the council could think about, well, then we can control that property, we can sell it, we can, I don't want any idea of being able to sell any property until we, well, my feeling is it needs to go in front of the voters to a certain point. Is that control of city-owned property? What do we think here? Is that?
that's in section 27 of the old charter.
the purchasing, yeah, I said we're going to deal with that separate anyway. You could put unless otherwise, you
Should we
know,
put,
unless otherwise,
and in accordance with section 27?
or otherwise in this charter or something along that idea.
Otherwise.
Because that's not a good charter, that's not a good,
Yeah.
but,
And the
because
other
there are
thing-
going to be a lot of,
General oversight.
there are a lot of individual ones that have
Yeah,
a lot more
yeah.
explanation to them.
Okay, so
And
general
that-
This is a
oversight
general
of city-owned
duty.
property and
that might be a subsection of this, is the sale of real estate over 1,000 and may lease for 1 year.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
And
so
if
that's,
it's not
that's what's in there.
inconsistent with this charter, is that the term we used before, Charlie?
Yeah.
Up above, that was in the original wording, I think.
Yeah,
General oversight and control of city-owned property and affairs, adding in not inconsistent with this charter. And then another role is to appoint, direct, supervise, and remove for cause city manager, city clerk, city attorney, and city treasurer. Right? That's a role of the council.
But you've left out there as well, who removes department heads.
no, well, we've got to that yet.
Yeah. You want Steve's to,
I mean,
so we don't, so when we get to the end, if we haven't gotten to it, Ian, do you want to, you write it down?
Yeah, I mean, we've got that under the city manager section on how department heads can be removed. And that, I guess that is a question, so if we flip over to that. City manager is empowered to suspend, terminate any municipal, that's kind of what I wrote in the yellow down here. But it says, shall consult with and attain approval from the city council for department heads, basically is what it's saying. So if that is in the city manager description, should we also have it in the city council description?
Mike, you are advocating for yes, right? Have it in both sections?
Yeah, so maybe we need to add that. That's what Ann's talking about.
Yeah, I agree with her too.
But I don't think, we don't need to add the whole thing, we just need to add the part about the department heads.
Yeah, I think you strike and city, so just strike the word and then put a comma after treasurer, and then put and department heads.
Where are you?
Number two.
Of what we had. So strike and. Strike that. Then get rid of the period and put, and then add that in there from what we have on.
You need to qualify it with
Yes.
the city manager, in
Yes.
conjunction with the city manager, because that's the only power you want to have.
As described in section 40? Because if we're gonna change section 40,
Yeah, potentially.
well, what's going on
So
today?
Charlie, what are we saying here, Charlie, Mike?
So-
Appoint, direct,
Direct.
supervise, and remove for cause the city manager, city clerk, city attorney.
City treasurer
Yeah.
and city department heads.
Yeah, But,
So, just to be clear though, so then this language gives, and I mean, we may be fine with this, but I want to just clarify, this language as it stands then gives the council to go over the city manager's head.
yeah,
And
I agree. We can't give,
Yeah.
we can't give them the ability to appoint, direct, supervise department heads, because that's what we would be doing.
Okay.
That's what you're saying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Might want this separate.
A separate clause, like,
Yeah,
A separate clause?
yeah, like change it to number 3.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be described in 40, but it's still a duty of the city council, so maybe that should be. But
To
just
approve, right?
just
To
the
approve.
section, shall consult with and attain, no, shall consult with the city man, we're going to have
Just
to
put the
word it
same,
different.
just put the same language.
Well,
Let's put it the same there right, for right now, so we don't lose the fact that we need to add this as a responsibility. I've got shall consult.
Well, the city, it's still the city manager.
it's the city
consulting
manager
with the
shall
city.
consult with and obtain approval from the city council. So it should probably read the city council with consultation with the city manager. I mean, it should be,
So,
it should
okay,
be reversed, because
does,
this is the city manager description, this is the council description.
does the city manager have to get approval from the council to appoint, direct, or supervise? Okay, so really, we're just talking about termination. That's different.
Right.
Yeah,
So the language should just be I think the city manager shall consult with the council or shall obtain approval from the council to terminate.
Okay, so what's the role of the council here, since that's the section we're on?
It's just, the city council's gotta give approval.
Yeah, the city council shall give
For department
approval
heads, yeah,
to,
right.
Why don't you
The
give them
city
the
manager.
power to fire and after consulting the city manager? If you only want them to
Because the city
fire.
manager would be the one doing the firing, not the council, basically. In my,
I thought, up until now, we had decided the other day that the city council are the group of people that appoint the fire chief, the police
The heads,
chief,
yeah.
The heads.
the heads. So now you have in section 4 of city manager, you have the city manager appointing, it says to appoint, except as otherwise provided by this act, all, and then you wrote department heads in parentheses. So you're giving in section 40 of the draft
Yep.
the power to the city manager to appoint department heads. Historically, it's always been the city council that did the interviewing and appointed the fire chief, the police chief, the superintendent of works.
This is why we needed to put it out in 3, so we can see where the inconsistencies are. Because we were flipping back and forth and going against screens. And this is exactly why I wanted to have these out like this. So let's finish going through the city council section. And then let's see where those, and then let's fix, when we get over to the city manager, let's fix those things. Shall consult with the city manager.
I think it should be shall approve. I think it should be the city council will approve or shall approve the termination of department heads.
Since we're appointing them in number 2, the next section is,
yeah, I don't think
What do you think?
I don't think we agreed that the city council was gonna appoint department heads. That's micromanagement to the degree.
But I do think
So we
we're in
either have a city
agreement that-
manager or we don't have a city.
yeah, but we've always, hasn't it always been the council that's done the department
Yeah,
heads?
because
Yes.
that's the way our charter read. Now, do we want to change our charter, or do we want to keep it a strong mayor and council? Because
Do you want?
my
one-
determination is you either have, the city manager either runs the day-to-day operations, or they don't.
So
And
this,
here, you're taking away what she said, so you got, the city council really want to appoint, direct, supervise department heads?
So,
Because that's
but
what
I
we're
think-
talking about.
I think you want the council appointing the department heads, and you want the council to approve termination. You're not looking to.
So that would be a
supervise.
separate
Right,
section
yes.
here.
Yeah.
I think ultimately the supervision and the direction should come from the city manager, that's their purview. But I do feel like the appointment and the termination should have to be approved by the city council.
so the city manager will bring before the council the recommendations for, as well as for hiring, as well as terminating department heads.
So they would conduct the interviews and everything like that, and the city council might choose to sit on this, I don't know. But I don't think the city manager should have sole power to hire and fire department heads. Other employees, sure, but I do think department heads, that is the council's purview now, and I think it should continue to be.
Okay, so, but it can't be lumped in with this section. You have to have another.
But no, I think it should be.
Okay, you
Drop
taking
down.
notes on that?
Well, that would be number 3, so department heads,
I've got it as 2 ways, so, and then I'll go back and fix all this
yeah,
eventually.
city council.
You want to dictate to me what you're writing, talk out loud and I'll type?
Oh, I don't know, I'm just making notes.
Okay, so
Danny.
can I go back and I'm a little slow this morning. Appoint, direct, supervise, and remove for cause the city manager, city clerk, city attorney, and city treasurer. Is that, are we deleting that now?
No,
No.
we're
No.
just keeping that, and then adding
appoint,
Yeah,
okay,
appoint city department heads.
Or even just approve the appointment and termination of city department heads.
Yeah, does the city manager bring recommendations to the council for department heads? And then we'll bring recommendations, termination, right? So we want to make sure that what you state here is stated the same way.
In both
for-
sections.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that one, this will have to change.
okay, so approve the hire. How'd you say that again, Danny?
Approve the appointment and termination of city department heads.
Approve the appointment and termination of city department heads.
When you,
I
when
think it's
you,
heads or directors, right?
when you approve the appointment of department heads, that means you're not really participating in the interviews, really. It's just recommendations being brought to you, it sounds like. Do you?
That's the way I see it.
Up until now, the actual interviews have been done before the council.
The final interviews are done before the council for the city manager position. Well, that was the city manager. This is department
That's
heads.
the,
When they hired a police chief, they interviewed the police chief. When they hired a fire chief, they interviewed the fire chief
Yeah, they
applicants.
did, they did.
There's nothing there that stops you from doing it.
Yeah, they can still attend those interviews.
I'm sorry?
They could still, there's nothing in the charter that prevents them from, there's nothing in this language that prevents them from attending those interviews.
I think if you are thinking they should be able to, that should be clear. Otherwise, they're just approving whatever the city manager brings to them.
I just wonder though, how much of the process of hiring, and I'm not sure on this, but how much of the process of hiring needs to be spelled out in the charter? I mean, there's what we absolutely want to happen, which is that the council absolutely must be involved in hiring and termination decisions. But then there's things that the council could do, like attend interviews, but I don't necessarily feel strongly about them being forced to do
Approve the
by the
appointment and
charter.
termination of city departments. I mean, that's a role of the,
I guess I just don't know.
I think it all
You're-
depends
you're
on
a
the current
council member.
administration.
Do you feel strongly about attending those interviews, and what's your beat on it the other council members do?
So personally, I like the whole format of having a task force, which consists of council, employees, and community. And then they go through the mountain of interviews, applications and separate them out, and then they do their interviews, and then they bring the final 2 or 3 to the council to make their decision.
and you want to do that for every department.
But that's what we did.
That's a nightmare, as far as I'm concerned.
That way, you'll never get them on higher.
Or you can just, you don't have to do it for every quote department head, but everyone that's a significant department head.
So what do you call the layer of city manager, police chief? What do you call that layer? And then underneath each of them, they have their employees.
The supervisors,
Is that a supervisor?
supervisor, yeah.
Like a city manager?
City manager supervising people underneath. So it's only individual people.
Lori, you have a comment you want us to hear?
When she's muted.
Yeah, she must hit a button.
Doesn't say-
You're either muted
We
or
can't hear you.
something.
She had her hand up.
So I think it's, I just think it's city manager's job. For department heads. with
I think it's a
the-
city manager's job, but I think that it needs to
be brought to the council, their recommendations, and we go from there. And I think it's the responsibility of people on the council to make those questions, to ask those
I think
questions.
all of this is muted because Dennis is trying to say something as well. So you might want to get that sorted out before we move forward.
It's not me.
Can you hear us, Dennis?
Is the volume up?
It's not muted on here. I see Dennis's hand up and your mute button is not on.
Can they use the chat?
Is my microphone is on.
Maybe the
Yeah, it's
owl
on.
isn't on?
What?
The owl might not be on?
Says it is.
Owl's on because
Owl's
it's
on.
doing the recording.
It's lit up too.
And it's lit up here too.
Why don't we disturb
Is there a
Carrie?
volume button?
I thought it might be the volume, but then we are
Lori
hearing,
says
we are
it's the
hearing
owl
the
that's
deep
the problem. She just texted me, she
Yeah,
can't get
okay.
through. Dennis and she can hear each other, but they're not hearing us.
Oh, they don't hear us? Oh,
So they're still sitting in the little room.
yeah.
Can you hear us now?
Is it not?
Oh, they're hearing us, but we can't hear them.
Carrie's not in the office, so.
I think this is called a third-party intervention.
Okay, so I'm going to unplug the owl and then plug it back
There's a
in.
mute button on the owl somewhere that she thinks is not muted.
Well, I thought so, but then when I hit it,
It's
it
on.
turned red, which made me feel like
Technology.
red meant
Gotta
mute.
love it.
Yeah, I love it.
What about now?
Testing.
You can tell when Lori's speaking because they're,
Yeah.
I wonder if the TV volume? Yeah.
We're hearing her through the owl and the computer.
So you can
but
see
not
right
through
here that the owl is
Not through
connected.
the screen.
See, the owl's right there, it's connected. And earlier Dennis spoke and we heard it.
Let me remove the phone.
Okay, how about now? Try talking, Lori.
See, I think that is.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
It's perfectly
It's red
clear
now.
you were
Yeah,
interfering.
I feel
So
like-
whatever you just did, I think muted it. Because we have a red light now.
I think
See right here, there's the mute
I see
button.
the red line, but I didn't touch it.
There's,
No, but
there's
I-
the red light.
Well, let's see if Carrie's downstairs.
Yeah, because like,
There.
there you go.
That's-
Now they can't hear us.
Yeah, because we had it muted, so now they should be able to hear
can
us.
you hear us now?
Listen now.
She's speaking.
Oh, I just
Yeah,
heard
you
her, I
can-
just heard her. I
You
just
can
heard
see her
her.
speaking on the screen.
Right.
Just a second.
But we're not
Volume on
hearing.
here.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Lori. I think we have it, so we can hear you. No?
No.
It was working, right? Yeah, it was. You can hear us, Lori?
Give the time to do this. The more setting that.
Can you hear us, Lori?
I can,
Very.
and you can,
Now we got it. What did you do?
I
just changed it
Okay.
to be the TV. So that's the TV, that's the computer, and that's the owl. I don't know why it's a speaker.
And I just heard Dennis
It
too.
would probably be fine if I
Okay.
unplugged it, but this will work. It's
Okay.
So.
All right, thank you. 1 second, Charlie will be right back.
okay,
Approve the-
Sure.
Yes,
you can hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, okay.
Sorry.
Now you know why we weren't answering or weren't able to answer.
Hey, well, I thought you had a customer there or something.
We took silence as consent.
Yeah.
Dennis, did you
Not
have
good news.
any of those questions we asked you before? Did you have any weigh in on those?
Yeah, we could pretty much hear you if you couldn't hear us.
Okay. Group appointment and termination. I think that stays. I'm happy. Termination is.
I'm sorry, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Do you,
But we
should I say that or Charlie that?
No, hold 1 second.
Okay, sure.
So while Charlie Cohen, I can tell you, so on number 3, this was a cut and paste from the proposal with the language to cover the appointing boards, commissions, committees, and similar.
Hey,
bodies.
Charlie?
Yeah.
Might want to shut that door for the air conditioners on.
This
No,
one?
not that one.
This one.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Y'all back, ready for your rock and roll? I may have a sentence that would be really easy for this.
Okay, what's your sentence, and then I'll,
There's nothing is easy for
what is that?
It's the microphone.
Feedback.
It's,
this. Phone.
Okay, Charlie,
So,
and then Lori, over to you in a second.
I feel strongly that the city managers is gonna be the department head's boss, supervisor, direct them, and everything else. So the appointment and termination should also be handled by the city manager. So, but if we wrote something as simple as department head appointments and terminations require the approval of the city council, that gives them the right to do it. But once the city council has decided that, yeah, that's okay with the appointment, the city manager should be the one.
I think that's what everybody's agreeing on.
No,
No, I don't
that
think it
has,
is.
that has not been the common practice. The, they
On
haven't
practice
been-
of who, Newport?
of Newport for city council, they put out the ad for the fire department chief or whatever, and then of the 3 or 4 applicants, or actually the 1 or 2 applicants that apply, come and get interviewed by the city council in an executive session, and they decide who's going to be the police chief, the fire chief, the Department of Public Works.
Did we have a city manager during that time?
Does that sentence,
Absolutely.
does that sentence that I wrote preclude them from doing that?
Yes, it does. It says, it says that the city manager comes and tells you who she wants, and then you
No, it doesn't.
approve that person.
No, it doesn't.
That's the way I would read what you
It
say.
says department heads, doesn't even say anything about the city manager. It says department head appointments, with an S, and terminations require the approval of the city council. Doesn't say anything about the city manager.
So how are we gonna get one? You're gonna get one because the city manager interviewed these people and then decided she wanted, one person. She says, I want Mr. Smith, I decided on him, I'll bring it to the council, you approve Mr. Smith.
But there's nothing that precludes
Nothing that precludes that.
the city council from saying, we're going to do the interviews. So you could come to the city council meeting where they're talking about they need to hire, a new police chief. And you can say, we think that the council should be doing the interviews, and the council can do that. Or the council can say, we're going to put a task force together to do the searches, and then bring back 2 or 3 applicants to the council. So I don't think that you're precluding the council from exercising their powers. I think you're saying,
I think if they don't know that they can do those things, they're not going to do them. They're going to wait for the city manager to do the interview, decide on Mr. Smith, and say, this is the person I want. City council approve him,
well,
or not.
Yeah,
I guess I would say that I hope that the city council knows what their powers are.
Well, but they won't know what their powers are defined by the
Well, but
charter.
I think if you're a city council person and you read, I have power, like it is not even my power, but also my responsibility to
Responsibility.
approve and terminate, to approve the appointment and termination of these roles, that as a good city council person, you would do your due diligence to be informed. And if that's
Right.
sitting in meetings, sitting in interviews, sitting in termination reviews, whatever, you would do that. What I do like about Charlie's language is that it leaves the process open to whatever the city might deem appropriate. Maybe the city does feel that it's appropriate to create a task force to aid the city manager in the search. Maybe the council says, you know what, we're totally fine just reviewing approval.
But I think you can add that. You can add that into the clause where you say the council may conduct interviews, that type of thing. Where it's not, they don't have to do it, but they can do it, and I think
Would you add it in that same
what
clause?
Ann is saying, then it's clear that they do have that authority to do that.
Let's, Jen, sorry.
I think you need to also put in there something about establishing the job descriptions or approving them. The council shall approve the job descriptions for any new position or, because I think you want to control what they're doing. Not only can somebody appoint the road person they want, they can do a job description or contract this.
And you think a job description should be in the charter?
I
Of every
think,
department?
yeah, the approval of it. I think that the power to do a job description, if you're gonna hire and fire, you should be able to establish what that position is.
So we have job descriptions, they're not part of the charter.
No,
Well, they
you
don't have
don't
to,
put
the
the.
job description itself doesn't have to be, just the power to
The power to approve.
Yeah.
the job description.
Yeah.
I mean, they can change anytime, but you need to approve those changes.
And that's all part of the checks and balances that you were talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
as opposed to giving all the controls to the city manager.
Okay,
So you control.
let's think about this here. The council may, with support of the city manager, and I don't like the word support, but my brain wasn't working for anything else, approve the appointments and termination of city department heads.
No, I think you want shall, council shall,
The council
and I don't know that
shall,
you need the city manager there, I think just council shall appoint.
the appointments and terminations of city department heads, as well as approve the job descriptions for each position.
Yes. And then I think you could put something, and may, at its discretion, hold interviews, or provide for task force to, I don't know how to word it, but.
I just think.
But doesn't that come in number one, the
we're
general
getting off into the
oversight?
weeds, I think.
Yeah.
The general oversight and control, that's and affairs. And the council shall, with support of the city manager, approve the appointments and termination of the city department heads, as well as approve the job descriptions for each position. Can we leave it at that?
Why don't you leave it at that for now and think about it?
Right.
You're going around in circles.
Exactly, I'm gonna just highlight it, sorry, that means we
Well,
gotta go back to it.
I don't think the charter needs to describe the process on how you get from point A to point B for every item in the charter. If you do, it's gonna be 7,000 pages long.
But this is an important one.
They're all
But
in.
we don't want to
If
micromanage.
they're not
We
important, they
wanna-
shouldn't be in the charter.
The council shall, with support of the city manager, that means they're working together, and how they do it with each other is at their discretion. You could have a council and a mayor that says, I want to see every single application, every single resume. Or you could say, I want to put together a task force, or they could say, I want to see your reasoning behind bringing to us your final 3 top candidates, and then we can all interview and come to a consensus together. It keeps it, it's specific but broad, if that makes any sense. So I agree, let's keep it right like that, and,
And you could say in consultation with the city manager.
oh, that's a better word than support, thank you. See it?
Charlie, you did that when you were on the council, did you not?
But,
Did you interview all the department heads that were appointed?
No.
You let the city
Did you
manager
appoint
do
any
that?
during your time?
Huh?
Did you have any department heads change during
Sure.
your time on council?
Sure.
Okay.
We had Public Works.
Yeah,
I think about it, it's 40 years ago, you know.
Yeah. I had none, so, you know.
Yeah, well, Ray Norris was
Yeah.
Public Works, and so I don't know if you remember that whole fiasco, but he retired. We also appointed a city manager
Yeah.
because Pete Robinson was gone.
Yeah, yeah, it started back in my time, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, we did some pretty major things.
So how'd you do it?
Department heads,
yeah. So those were biggies.
department heads,
Ray Norris would have been a department.
came to us with suggestions. I don't think we did a whole lot. We had somebody next in line that knew everything about the city, and we were pretty happy with that, and we appointed him.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, really?
we didn't,
We
we didn't go out and,
Yeah,
you know,
solicit.
a lot of times you try to, I do the same thing with the ambulance. I mean, we appoint supervisors for different sections, like in Johnson,
Yeah.
which is away from us. But we don't go out and hire, we don't go out and advertise for the position if we have a qualified employee
Yeah.
in-house that we feel is perfectly capable of doing the job.
But that-
We discuss it, but we
Yes,
don't.
but that's because you have the insider information already. You already know who this person is.
Well, and
When
you
you
should
go
have.
outside and hire somebody, you don't
Right.
know what they're like.
Now, city manager, we took applications, and I hired the first female city manager in the city of Newport, by the way. So we did do.
Sharon, could you read that again, please?
Huh?
The council shall, with
I just-
consultation of the city manager, approve the appointments and termination of city department heads, as well as approve the job description for each position.
Okay. I think Dennis and I both wanted to add something.
Okay, what comment do you want us to think about, and then we're gonna, okay?
Yeah, I like that statement. I was just gonna say, I know that in the last probably 3 years, there has been discussion about the strength of the city. One of the strengths of the city manager should be literally managing people in an HR type role, because we don't really have that. I don't know how that was, put with our current search, but because that's one of the duties, the city manager really needs to be, they're not just managing the affairs of the city, they're managing people.
Right.
And there can be a difference in that.
So-
And I'm looking at the job description, and it says, one of the essential functions of the manager is to manage all operations and personnel of the city in accordance with the city charter. So I do think that making it really clear, I don't mean down to the minutia, but clear that, what from the charter we are expecting the city manager to do.
Right. So right now, we're trying to
Right.
finish the roles of city council. So can you save that when we get back to city manager?
Yep.
Okay. Dennis?
at when that time comes.
Yeah.
But with the city council, what we were doing, and then Charlie spoke about when they were hiring to replace Raynor, for instance. Yes, that was done in-house because you had that succession of somebody who knew what was going on and they would just slip into that position.
Right?
Nowadays, things have changed and you have to branch out to get the proper person because your second in command may not feel comfortable or even want that position.
Right?
Therefore, you reach out. Now, the city manager was always getting those applications in and then sending those to us, and we would conduct the interviews in the meeting or during an executive session or whatever, during meetings.
Yeah.
That probably is the way we should continue going. And I just lost my train of thought, but anyway,
Do you agree that the statement that I just read covers us with that? The
I
council,
believe so.
the
Yeah, I
council
believe-
shall, with consultation of the city manager, approve da-da-da-da?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you're okay with that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Danny
Yes.
and Mike?
Yeah, I would just put it in consultation.
I've got it, yep. With or in
In
consultation
yes.
with, okay. You can see you've done this more than once, Mike.
A couple of times.
Yeah, I just think the process does not have to be described
Right.
in the charter, because then if you force the fact that they have to go out, and hire, have interviews, and you have somebody perfectly in line to do it, you can't do it.
Whereas,
But if you don't, I would assume that's the process anyways.
but this
It
line
doesn't
here,
preclude you from doing
this line here could,
it. You can go either way. Yeah. That's.
let's see what we're thinking for the next one, because it's in blue, which means we needed to.
Well, we got through one so far. In an hour.
Okay, then this is the role of the city council. Let's just keep that in the back of our mind. We're only thinking about the roles here. Appoint the member of all boards, commissions, committees, or similar bodies unless specifically provided otherwise by this charter. The terms of all appointments shall commence on the day after the day of appointment unless the appointment is to fill a vacancy in an office, in which case the term shall commence at the time of appointment and continue until the original term of the vacant position expires. So we took this out of the proposal and we put a note on here, because Charlie and I went back and forth with this for a while. Do we need this to be as specific as it is in here? Does it need to have,
Can you stop after charter, the first sentence, or do you need to add the others?
do you need the terms of all appointments shall commence?
What do you think the reason was for that language in the first
Well,
place?
we asked the same question.
It was because of death of an office that was required, but I think we ran into problems when Charlie Blake died, who was our clerk treasurer.
But this wasn't in the original charter, this was in the.
No, I know, which is why it got, I think
Oh,
John
why
put
they
it
put
in
it in.
here. Because we had this discussion on the new charter,
At the
because they had it where the council position started, but you had to be bonded. And so I said, you've got a conflict because you can't get a bond if you don't know who's gonna win the election. So they could not start their office. So I think that's how that, part of that came in. And it might also be something in state statute. John Manette might be able to answer that question.
Yeah. These are mostly boards, commissions, committees,
Yeah,
not
I know,
employees.
which is the interesting thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you like boards, commissions, and committees, like, do those serve specified terms? Like, if I'm on a committee, I assume this is a committee or it's a
Task force is a
Yeah.
committee, yeah.
So we don't
We don't have a term.
have a
Yep.
term.
No.
It's just done when it's not.
Planning
My
commission,
understanding.
planning commission,
Do they have a term?
yes.
So, I don't
But
know.
but that's in the ordinance.
Yeah.
So what
Is
you,
it spelled out
what
in
you
the
brought up, what you brought up to us the other day for the ordinances and stuff.
Mm.
So we also went down through and said, so
Yeah.
do we need to elaborate in the charter all this stuff if we already have an ordinance? And you look down through and it's amazing what's included in the ordinances. Such as terms and all that kind of stuff, that's all in the ordinances. So do we really need to spell them out again in the charter?
If
Because you can
have the
change an
power-
ordinance a whole lot easier than you can change a
Right.
charter.
Yeah, and you should have it as the power to make the ordinance, and then just leave it, because
Which we have.
ordinance power is in state statute.
Right, which we have.
Yeah, to micromanage and list all of the things, like you can regulate stop signs, don't go there, because you might forget something.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah. And
So
then at the end, you have to put, and any other blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
to cover all the other.
Okay,
Could
so-
So are we good with this?
Could you just put the terms of all appointments are as per ordinance, as per ordinance?
not every appointment has an ordinance, there is an ordinance, allowing task force.
I mean, not every appointment has an ordinance that covers it, and not every appointment is gonna have a term, so I think this language is kind of erroneous.
I would say unless you go back, you
Let's just
already
stop
have
at the
it.
charter.
You have it at the beginning, may, whatever, establish, modify, and terminate any other boards.
Yeah.
So
So I
it
think-
it repeats what you already have in very short language.
Okay, so can we just agree then, Mike, Dan, and Charlie?
If you're gonna need it, the lawyers are gonna throw it back in.
That's a very good point.
So I would say, you've got it covered.
So can we just keep it that we're going to end after the word charter, that the role is to appoint the members of all boards, commissions, committees, or similar bodies unless specifically provided otherwise by this charter? Can we just stop there?
That's clear.
And it repeats your second paragraph of the introduction. It shouldn't be part of the introduction.
Which is kind of why we put this in blue, because I think that's kind of what we were thinking too.
That's what we were thinking, but we didn't think we should make the decision.
Yeah.
How about the next one, which now is number 4, create, change, and abolish offices, commissions, or departments other than the offices, commissions, and departments established by this charter or state statute.
Isn't that the same as?
Do we want to retain this power as a council? This would talk about, like, if we decided, if maybe down the road someone says, we don't need street department, we're gonna privatize out plowing, or we're gonna privatize out pub works, or,
Well, instead of going to the police department, they decide they want to go with.
do
the
we
sheriff.
keep that power in here?
It gives them, it just
You
gives them
already have it in
options.
your second paragraph, already has the same power.
Right. I mean,
You have 3 identical
yeah,
items
so
in
in
here.
23, the blue that you wrote in covers 3 and 4.
Number 4 is pretty much number 3, isn't it?
Yeah, number 3 is pretty much,
What you,
First-
yeah, what you
the
wrote in
second
23.
sentence.
Yeah, the second sentence in 23.
So we took this from the proposal.
If you wanted to make it more clear, you could put in the first paragraph in the blue, you could just after boards, committees, task forces, offices, commissions, and departments. And then that really does cover it all. And then you can get rid of 3 and 4 completely.
Sharon, if you think about sentence number 2, the council may modify, that should be section number 1. And that section number 1 shall include your current section 3 and 4.
Well,
It should not be, it's not an introductory sentence. You've got one introductory sentence, then you've got a power.
Yeah.
So that should be number 1.
so so what's in blue underneath,
The second sentence.
Yeah,
yeah, the city
Yeah.
council may from
Yeah.
time modify, terminate boards, it does not say departments, that's the only difference.
Then-
Yeah, I think we
Then
wanna
work
change
on
that.
it and make all three of those the same thing and make it item number 1 of council powers.
Instead of general oversight and control.
Yeah, that would then become number 2.
Probably that would be number 1 when you rearrange, but whichever way, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the numbering is in
The
terms
numbering's
of
not
like
there
No,
yet,
no,
that's a
you
whole
can't-
nother
you don't.
conversation.
Yeah,
I guess I'm not clear what we're saying.
So I
You're
guess,
talking
If we
about
added
the top.
departments into that, it covers that whole thing.
the city council may from time, or may establish,
Well,
modify,
What we're saying is this here basically says the same thing as here, except it doesn't include departments.
So,
This would include departments. And if we just
And
add departments.
office.
after boards,
Huh?
offices too. Offices and departments.
Right.
okay, after what word?
After boards, other boards, department, comma, offices, right? Up here. And then you just go-
Council shall make,
just
shall have
eliminate.
power to make, establish, the blue part there.
Yeah.
City council may establish, modify, the change of, or terminate other boards. And what?
Departments, comma, offices, comma, you're gonna have committees and task forces maybe. That covers 4, you just.
So well, then we can just delete 4?
Right?
Yeah.
you forgot commissions, if we have any commissions.
It says committees.
Committees and commissions is used in section 3.
So instead of committee, should it say commissions?
It should say both.
Yeah.
More recent language has both for some reason,
Okay,
as well as the qualifier
It's in
is
there now.
similar.
it's in there now.
Okay.
So then that would allow us to, we are covering ourselves, we are covering with, so you're saying strike through number 3,
Mhm.
because that's the same thing. Yep, okay, I get it. I'm striking through it now, everybody, but I think that that's not original language, so it would be just a delete. Okay, number 4, is that the same thing as well?
Yeah.
Charlie, you okay with that? You have this
Yeah, but
feeling
my
with that.
3s and 4s are different depending on. paper
Okay,
I'm
creating,
looking at.
change, abolishing.
Are we looking
offices.
at number 3 and 4 of this document?
Yes. Create, change, and abolish offices, that one?
So you're talking strike this, and strike 3 and 4 and put it up on the top. I'm good.
We'll put it as a number
And we
1.
can put this as
That's
number
all?
1, instead of in
Right,
the
right.
paragraph up above.
You taking good notes?
Just wondering what it's gonna say.
Yeah.
Number 2 would be the next one.
I think they decided it was gonna say the city council may establish, modify the charge of, or terminate boards, offices, departments, commissions, committees,
That's what A says, but are you saying
and
that,
task forces as may be necessary or beneficial for the administration.
are you saying instead of saying A, it should say number 1? Is that what,
Yeah.
is that what we're all saying here?
Yeah.
Where do you see A?
Well, it's not even A, just the.
Within 23.
Right after where it says 23 city council powers and it starts the city council shall, that should be
Yeah.
number 1.
Yeah, well, no, that's 23. So
Okay.
that's the powers of the council.
One starts
Then
at the
you're-
city council
yeah.
may modify.
So where the blue section starts, that would turn into number 1.
That's what I did.
Yeah. But
So you just take
Does-
all of this
And put that
and
as
make it
your.
number 1,
Oh,
right?
by saying establishing,
yeah,
does that also include appointing the members? Or are you just establishing the commission or the department? of it?
So would you prefer the language to say may establish, make appointments to, modify the charge of, or terminate?
Well, may establish and appoint the members, modify the charge, and terminate, something, but yeah.
No, just the city council may appoint. Establish, modify.
Well, I think you want to establish, then you appoint, right? It's just looking in order of
Probably.
how it's done.
The city council may establish, appoint, modify the change of. Charge of or terminate other boards, departments, offices, committees, commissions, and task force as may be necessary or beneficial for the administration of the affairs of the city.
Yeah, you might want to stick in the clause unless specifically provided otherwise by this charter.
Unless specified.
It's provided, specifically provided otherwise by this charter.
You could
Yeah.
cut and paste it.
Yeah.
there off of
Provided. Provided otherwise by this charter, unless.
Or state statute,
Hmm?
or charter or state statute.
I think,
They don't want us to keep
Yeah.
referring back to that,
Okay.
that's what
I
they told
think
Mike.
what
Oh,
Mike,
okay.
yeah, is
All
that
right.
they just assume that
You
it's
did.
implied.
Okay, all right.
He
Forgot that,
contacted
sorry.
them a month later.
And you're putting other duties of the city council shall include before one, right?
Yeah, I would think that just
Yeah.
moves up to after state.
After the first sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other duties of the city council will go next.
So then that would be 1, 2 would be the general oversight, 3 would be the appoint direct supervisors, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Very numbered.
I think the other duties should precede this, the sentence you've just done.
Huh?
It will,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
I just.
Yeah, we're gonna just move
put it
that
in
up.
right now.
So if we
Just-
delete what's in blue,
Yeah,
that's gonna move up.
okay, so blue can now go to black. Okay, we go with that, and this can now go here. Oh, blue. Okay, all right. Now, that brings us to 3 and 4 are now out. Then another role, provide for an independent audit by a certified public accountant. Is this city council or is that city manager?
Does provide for, when we say provide for, have we agreed that that language means pay for?
Pay for,
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
much, right?
Up until now, the appointment of the auditor has been by the city council.
That's where we kept it.
I'm sorry?
That's where we
That's why-
kept it
So
too.
we'll just leave it
Okay.
there?
I think
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay.
You're right. Then the
But
next one.
Isn't there another, after the, the number 2 that's on the original, appoint direct supervisor, remove the city manager, da. And we had another clause that we were putting in there about department heads.
Yeah. Yeah, that, she already did that.
As well as, yeah, that,
The department heads, that whole
Okay.
spiel.
I just want to make sure.
yeah, it's there, I just.
Yeah,
don't
it's
remember.
there, it's there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that was our question on that, is that city council or city manager? But I think that's probably city council too.
Is that the language, where did that language come from? For the,
I think it was in our original charter. If I can find it.
Yeah.
No,
it wasn't-
Certified public accountant.
No.
No, because everything on the original got we didn't strike through. That came from the proposal.
Okay, well, it probably wasn't required back in 1918.
Right, that's probably.
We had
exactly-
auditors,
Yeah,
remember?
so-
We had auditors,
Had auditors,
Back
yeah,
then.
and we're getting rid of the auditors,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
So instead of provide for, is it appoint or hire or? Was there anything in the proposal that talked about that?
Uh,
I'm just
I don't
looking
know-
at
I
different
don't know
language
what's a
than
better
provide
word
for.
there.
Where did this language come from? Was it the proposal?
I believe so.
And the old one is auditors, but it does go on to say the report shall be printed together with those of the city officers under the direction of the city council at the expense of said city and circulated among the taxpayers at least 15 days before the annual meeting.
And that was in the
That's
failed
section
proposal.
17.
No,
that's-
that's of the
that's-
current
that's the-
17,
Okay.
section 17. yeah.
Yeah.
Think we need the whole thing or just the sentence?
You need to qualify, the manager does the budget, you need to qualify the days of that, but obviously it would be, you can't have an audit. Your audit should be ready for the city meeting, considering your year ended in June.
And
Yeah.
the accountant is the person, the CPA is the person who now handles the audits, is that right?
The city hires, the council hires the auditors. They,
But is that what we're talking about with the CPA?
yeah, the city basically deleted the office of auditors.
Okay, so we know that this is a role of a responsibility of the council.
Yeah,
We're just wondering if we change the word in here?
well, just to provide for. I think leave it, and then if an attorney looks at it, they might have a different,
They might have a different word.
word to use there, but it's,
Okay,
I mean,
but it's
the
definitely still a
meaning,
role.
I think everybody can understand the meaning that the council is.
I put some writing in on 17, because I think we're gonna keep that in there, so, somewhat, but mine just said, the city council must contract with a licensed CPA to perform the annual audit of all municipal funds. This report shall be included in the city annual report for the city meeting. So that was wording that I just, in my notes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at. So if it's a responsibility of the city council, but then you describe it further in the charter, or are you gonna describe everything that's in the charter and then get rid of like 17, and get rid of
Well,
18, and get rid of 20?
I think you have this general sentence, the general oversight and control of the city-owned property and affairs, that's an affair. They have to assure that the audit is done.
Well,
This-
that's-
This is specific because the state law requires you.
Yeah.
And
but the role of the council is, when we had that your first line about general affairs, isn't an audit considered a part of your general affairs that you gotta do, or aren't we being redundant here?
Yes.
But do they know that?
Yeah, but we are gonna have a
Because of-
section on auditing.
Are we? That's what I just said.
I think
Well, it's
Are we,
there.
or-
We're updating, we're not
Yeah.
getting rid of everything.
So Charlie just leaves in the sentence that the city shall, pay for the same, then you know that the city has to do it.
Okay, so we're gonna leave it in here as a responsibility of the city council?
I think so, and then
Okay.
we describe it more fully in 17.
I think so.
And you should get rid of that word provide, just say contract with a certified public accountant for an independent audit.
That's what 17's gonna say.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm saying, in summary, you
Using
can
the
just
same
say
to
it
make it consistent.
and get rid of the word
Yeah.
provide, which is not as,
I put the word contract. Is that the word,
That's it.
contract
Yeah,
with?
that's okay.
Yeah, contract, with a certified public accountant.
Okay. Got that.
To provide for an independent audit.
Then another role, when we continue on, is to review and approve the annual city budget and adopt and approve the annual city tax rate. In addition, the council oversees the administration of the adopted budget, as well as making sure the expenditure initiatives set forth in this charter are being adhered to. So this is referencing 805 of the proposal. And the role of the city council to be sure the specific sections of the charter are being followed. Because if you go back, it is specifically in there that,
Just technically, I don't think the city council approves the city budget or the city tax rate. They approve.
Approve a budget to be
proposed-
presented.
Right, a proposed.
good word, yeah.
Yep.
Review and
And unfortunately, we the citizens, they usually agree, and we approve it.
the proposed, so by putting the
Wait,
word proposed in there.
Yeah,
Well,
proposed.
unfortunate for you, fortunate for the council.
Except you were also.
Except for we're also taxpayers too,
Depends
so
where you're coming from, yeah.
I used to
I'm
say,
just-
don't bother
I'm
giving
just-
me a raise because I just pay it out in taxes.
And that was why the city manager was always supposed to live in the city. Not anymore.
But it was not in the charter though, because I went back, it's never been in the charter. It just was kind of an unwritten thing. Yeah, that's a whole nother ball of wax.
Mhm.
Okay, review and approve the proposed annual city budget and Are we fine with that one as by putting in the word proposed and approved?
Yeah, and I think you need proposed for the city tax rate also, because don't we approve the city tax rate?
No.
No.
No, that's
No,
calculated
you-
afterwards.
you-
Well,
approve
so
the
you have
budget.
two. You have
I'm sorry.
you have two tax rates.
To get your school.
You have the school tax rate,
Yeah.
which is actually done by the state,
Yeah,
but you still have to approve it, but the council does that.
yeah.
And the tax rate for the city is determined by
The budget.
the budget.
By a
It's
husband
$100,
in the budget.
yeah.
Okay.
And ultimately by vote, whether or not we accept it.
If you accept it, it's this many dollars, and then you
Right.
divide it by the grand
Yeah.
list, and that's how you come up with the
Got
tax.
it.
How do we feel about the line that begins in addition to council
Where you,
on the budget? and-
Just the second line, the second
Oh,
sentence.
Crucial.
Needs to stay in there, right?
I think so.
I mean, I think that's kind of their job, so that's, you have a meeting, and you should have a financial report. I mean, we always discuss the financial report
Yeah. And that's part
in
of
every
the
meeting.
Yeah.
That doesn't really happen that much anymore.
It does, they do a monthly.
Yeah, we do
They
it
do
now.
now.
We do it
Because for
monthly.
a while, it's like,
For a long time, and it was forbidden to discuss it, so
Yeah.
nobody has.
but it's still their job. It is the
Yes.
council's job to
Yes,
oversee it,
absolutely.
make sure that.
Okay.
But is the council overseeing the administration? Or is that the city
Yes.
manager's job? And then you are making sure the expenditures fall in line with the budget when you look at when you review everything every
But
year.
you're overseeing the administration, who is the city manager. He is
To
the
me, that's your
administrator.
checks and balances.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you oversee the city manager.
who is the chief administrative officer.
Right, but I'm just wondering if someone could interpret that as you are overseeing all the departments, because that's part of the administration of the
Right,
city.
and the treasury department is supposed to be separate.
It says
So-
of the adopted budget.
Would better language be,
Yeah.
well, okay, so grammatically this sentence is, it needs a little work, so I'm wondering if maybe you could just change it to, in addition, the council oversees the adherence to the adopted budget and expenditure initiatives.
Can you say that once more?
Adherence to the adopted budget?
It says adhere to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but
it
it
doesn't
could-
belong
so
down,
that's-
remember, we got tired of this one and
Yeah,
I
but
said, I just
adhere
gotta put it
to-
down and we'll talk about
You
it.
can't end a sentence with adhere to.
Yeah, I got
You
it.
can, you should.
Oversees the adherence,
Oversees adherence to the adopted budget.
get rid of the, over here, adherence of the adopted budget.
Yes, that's,
The expenditure initiatives, we Googled that term because we had kept seeing that term
Yeah.
and it's a good term.
well, we
It's
could
a
also
great term.
say, adherence to the adopted budget and expenditure initiatives.
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
set forth in the charter on expenditure initiatives?
Well,
Nothing yet.
no, we haven't done it there, but,
So when you talk about the budget, that's the entirety of,
It's,
So-
doesn't the budget cover expenditures?
it's section 28,
Oh, city expenditure.
yeah, which we'll hash that one out, but that's why we put it here, or I believe why we put it here, right, Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong.
So you just think.
Aren't you overseeing that the expenditure initiatives adhere to the adopted budget?
Yeah. Okay, so in addition, the council oversees, so do we feel like the council doesn't oversee the administration of the adopted budget?
We have got some history here,
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, like financial report was never part of the meeting for years.
So
So,
the council assures that the expenditure initiatives adhere to the adopted budget? Is that what you're saying?
I like your word there.
I do think it should also adhere to the charter though too, because then we do outline that in the charter later.
In addition, the council oversees the expenditure initiatives
Adhere to the
Adhere
adopted
to the
budget
adopted-
and charter, and the
Yeah.
charter.
And the charter.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. It's about to come out of blue as I read it.
Going back to number 5, though, should we say annual independent audit? Does that happen annually?
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's two nuggets of orders, so.
Got it.
But it does happen every year? Okay.
It's required in the state law.
Are we okay now with, in addition, review and approve the proposed annual city budget and adopt and approve the annual city tax rate?
the proposed annual city.
I got proposed annual city budget, okay. In addition, the council oversees the expenditure initiatives and oversees that.
No, assures that the expenditure
Insurers or
initiatives.
ushers?
Pardon?
Ushers or insurers?
I never get that. That's a grammatic
It's a
thing I don't
grammatic,
know.
I think it's
I thought it was,
I think it's insure. I think you assure someone
Yeah,
and you
it's
insure
insure.
something.
Good.
Ensures the
Ensures to
expenditure
make
initiatives.
certain.
I'm the grammarian.
I unfortunately.
And ensure is to make certain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In addition, the council
Remember.
ensures the expenditure initiatives adhere to the adopted budget and charter.
Yay, yes.
We okay with that?
Mhm. I think so.
So, and I don't know if she put that in there. In 17, it's going to say that. It's in.
Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't, I didn't know that it had to be in. I just.
Yeah, it has to, Vermont law.
Okay, and then the city council
And that was
also.
correct. We have, the auditors never picked up the water and sewer
Right.
descriptions
Yeah.
for several years. So
Then we have down that.
professionals aren't always
Yeah.
better than.
Well, it's because it was
planners.
called enterprise.
Exactly.
It was very enterprising, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. We continue on. The next role is that the city councils shall serve as the Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners. The Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners shall meet at least once per calendar year to review the prior year's audit, approve the coming year's budget, and to alter rates as necessary or desirable to sufficiently fund the expense budgets.
That gives holes that you can walk out of.
What's that?
If you're only requesting, demanding that a meeting should be at least once a year, I realize you need some
A
flexibility,
minimum.
but there's got to be something that tightens it up from the shit show we had.
So
The
here's
water and sewer ordinance is at this point under review for change that does cover this, the detail of the operation. So as long as you have it in here, I argued about that once a year, I think you were at the meeting.
Yeah.
But I think you've got to be careful that you do not conflict with the ordinance for the water and sewer.
because it's becoming an ordinance now.
So just say,
It's
this is,
the right,
this is,
though there is, we're only amending right now the water ordinance.
yeah.
But we will do the same for the sewer ordinance, which is requiring the Board of Water Commissions
Okay.
to do certain things. So I didn't bring that language, but I can provide it to you guys.
I don't,
But
I
we
don't
need
think
it.
we need it.
Yeah,
So
you
we
want-
do need that, that is a duty of the city. council.
Yes, yes, and you don't want to have it so it conflicts with the ordinance.
So is this gonna conflict with it? This is a pretty simple statement.
I don't think so, because it's, as Pam points out, mushy enough. It
Okay.
covers that you
Well,
have to meet, you have to.
Basically say you have to meet once a year, you have to set the rates
Yeah.
after reviewing the,
Yeah, and I think if my memory is correct, but it's been out for about 2 months now.
Okay, that's coming out of.
so I'm hoping it's,
Water sewer task
it's-
force meeting.
We're coming up with one, once the budget's done. We don't have any figures.
is the ordinance gonna cover how you set the rate?
No, it empowers the water commissioners to set the rate,
So that's the council.
yeah.
Right.
Well, it's not the council, it's the council as the water commissioners.
I think we
So we're
addressed
covered
that.
here.
Did we address that down the road? This is one of the powers, specific is
Yeah.
down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ordinance covers the other specific part.
Yeah, I think this section should be fine.
Is there gonna be a section in the ordinance, for instance, before we reinvent the law going down the road, that only users have to pay and that the funds from water and sewer can't be commingled with the general fund? I mean, is all of that gonna
That would be
be
wonderful.
in the ordinance? If not, it's gonna be in the charter, in my mind.
It is, the handling of the funds has not been addressed so far in the ordinance. I wouldn't
So-
recommend that necessarily, well, I don't know. We have to think about it. It is an enterprise fund, so it is a separate entity unto itself. How you keep the books within the city, it should be very straight, and I think Chip is working on that. It should be, it wasn't.
So but I think we're gonna address that in, down the road.
Yeah, it's not, you don't want the detail here, I don't think.
No, I don't either. This is just a duty.
This is just the duty of the city council.
Specifics of those duties are
Yeah.
before, that's why we kind of
Yeah.
get off. You can't have everything in this. This is a
Right.
is in general, what are your duties?
Yeah.
And then the specific duties will be addressed individually
Yeah.
in the charter.
This number 6.
So we're good with that? Everything?
Yeah.
Dennis?
Are you okay with that, Dennis?
Yes,
Okay, it makes sense to you?
Yep.
yes, it does.
All right, now. Proposed this, obviously, we've got to rearrange and make this flow better, because this, what we have down for number 6 should go up more when we're talking about meetings, not with water and sewer. But the city council shall fix the time and place for holding a public meeting to present a proposed budget for public input. That's just a given, right? That's a duty of the council.
Providing public input is actually insisted on, and it hasn't been.
Provide public.
I've got public
For
input in there.
public input?
Okay, so long as there has been no space for public input.
But that's what's in the charter, we're proposing this right now.
Yeah. It says for public input,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
The problem with that in terms of the proposed budget is giving us time after 3 or 4 meetings have occurred, at which department heads have spoken, et cetera, and pushing us to the very end when we can't ask questions of department heads or, get into the nitty-gritty. It's very difficult to come in at the end after 4 meetings and make all your comments then.
So that would be a different section that discusses how you handle the budget. This is just saying it is a duty of the council to fix the time and place to hold a public meeting for it. It's not saying how the budget's gonna be derived.
You're talking
There
about-
are other sections in this charter.
You're talking about a public meeting independent of council meetings?
Yes,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah. Yeah,
Lori?
it says this, fix a meeting for public input, specific. That's what this says.
So this is
It's
in
gonna
the
be
charter,
required.
so if we live by the charter, it's gotta happen.
It's
If we
gotta
don't put
happen.
it in there,
It's
it
gotta
doesn't have to
That's why
happen.
we put that in.
Here, that's the Monday night, before town meeting day. That's what that is.
Yes.
And because there's, in my experience, there's always been opportunity during the council meetings when the budget has been discussed for community members to ask questions. I think this is specifically for the Monday night before town meeting, or whatever day the
I think
council
it can
sets.
be-
That's traditionally.
Yeah, that may be it, but that the council may decide that they're finished the budget December 1st, let's have a public meeting on it.
Just having it-
We didn't want to fix a day, we talked about that.
Yeah.
We didn't want to lock it into a day because
But,
as soon as it's ready, it should be discussed.
just putting it the night before,
Doesn't give you time to change it.
well,
That's right.
it's a very clear message, we ain't changing nothing.
Exactly. So that's why we
And
didn't put a
historically,
date.
that's
specific.
exactly the way it was.
We
Yeah.
know.
So that it was explained, and then the voters the next day would say yay or nay based on that. And before that, I can remember sitting at the meeting and we discussed it and we voted yay or nay right then and there. It wasn't Australian Valley,
Sure.
right, Mike? You remember being at those meetings?
Well, I never went to the meeting.
I
I remember my dad
I
taking.
used to
me
be
to
on
the
the
meeting.
radio.
I remember running those meetings.
Then
Yeah.
you go on the radio.
Yeah, you voted on the
Yeah, it
budget
did,
on
it was on the
floor.
radio as well, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's historically how it came to be. So by putting this in here, it does say public. And how it happens is how it happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I get what Lori said, but, and I hear what Charlie's saying too. Would this not allow for multiple meetings? Because you're saying a public meeting, or
It's just requiring that you
have at least
have to
one?
fix at least
And at
one.
least one, yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
But, yeah.
Traditionally, the budget is broken down,
Yeah, right.
comes to the council, each department head comes in, has their own day in the bucket, and at that point, they should open it up for public discussion. But, so that probably should be addressed. Other than that, this is just requiring that at least you hold one after it's complete. To present the proposed budget is when you're done. The process to create the budget is a whole different animal.
And then the last one, the fact that the council has a time and place for each month's regularly scheduled meeting. Instead of saying it's always gonna be the first Monday, like it is now, not being so specific, because maybe it won't always be the first Monday for everybody. Maybe they're gonna say it's the
Every
first
hol- every
Thursday.
holiday's
Who
on a
knows,
holiday.
you know?
Right.
But at least it's in there, that that's the role of the council. And that's where we ended, going through the current charter and the proposed charter by extracting everything that said city council out of the proposal and putting it here with the roles. Now, how, let me change this. Those being the roles of the city council.
We went in and did pretty much everywhere in the budget where it said the city council shall, not in the budget, I'm sorry, in the,
Proposal and the current.
in both of them. We tried to lump it all into here as a duty.
And not keep repeating ourselves, and obviously we did that, so.
We still did, we still did.
Now what, okay, so what should we have?
So you've looked at all the, can't remember how many numbers there were.
30 something.
Yeah.
40.
But you've gone through and stricken through a number of them that you don't think they're not relevant anymore, or they're
Well,
covered
it's
elsewhere.
all those 32 on the that were either amputated or didn't apply, or we reworded.
Well,
We
we
went
did.
through those 32 on Monday.
Right.
Like,
So.
for instance,
we-
in the charter, it says water system, city council shall, whatever. So when we did that, okay, so that's part of their job, is water.
But then there's a whole section on it later,
There's a whole section on it.
but it's still a role.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So-
think what Mike is
That's
asking
kind
though,
of-
so we are striking,
So can we get a document that shows all of those, they're either stricken or they're.
It's the
reworded?
working document that I'm working on right now, that's in the folder.
Yeah, you can go
For you,
on, you
for,
can
you
go on.
have,
and-
everybody has viewing rights.
You can go on and see that
Okay,
on the Google Drive
yeah,
for the charter.
but is it, I mean, we've got,
That's just
These.
extracted from the working document.
okay,
They're still in there. You can throw these away after today.
You're talking about like this, where you strike the stuff out?
Right here.
That's not,
I mean, it's here.
that's that working
And
document, that's
We'll
this.
share
here,
this on the website, hopefully after.
yeah,
Which I think you have. This is.
it probably did, but.
Where it's all
it's-
struck out, like this whole paragraph. And if it's a word that we change, we strike,
Mhm.
we've done that, and
Yeah.
then
I'll have to
you,
go back.
anything new is in blue. And you have to look at the working document and see if that works for you, because, yeah,
I'm just, we're working some from paper, we're working some from the computer.
we may, yeah,
I'm just trying to figure out, we're jumping from one
Well,
to the other.
anything that we
probably should do
discussed,
this.
anything we discussed today, I've been updating on the working document. I only printed those out so you didn't have to go back and forth on the computer, or if you didn't bring a
Yeah.
computer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
This
I
is-
mean, but now we're moving on,
Yeah,
Yeah.
still
so
working
now,
document, yeah.
yeah, so now we gotta jump from paper now to the device.
Well,
which
we're
is
only
fine.
moving on to the city
Would you
manager.
prefer-
Okay, so we're not, okay, I thought we were gonna continue on with,
After we look at the city manager.
okay.
Yeah, we were trying to get the mayor,
No,
the
I,
city
no, I
council.
fully understand what you're trying to do,
Yeah.
but
and
I'm
then
just
go-
wondering
I was trying to
Yeah.
simplify it, maybe
Yeah.
it didn't work.
Yeah, then go back, because so many of the other things we're gonna deal with have already been defined if you define the mayor, the city council.
I fully agree,
You
but
know,
it's just when we start looking at how
Right.
we're presenting this now. it's-
Right, but, oh, yeah, we're not even close to that point, Mike.
But when we present it, it's gonna look,
All right, here we go.
it's gonna look like this, more like this document, see where it's all.
I'm a little familiar with that.
Okay, yeah, but it's on the,
It's on the working document.
yeah, she just
Okay.
took all the,
Okay, so
basically, so you don't have to print
we have the city
27
council,
pages every meeting.
pretty much the roles of the city council, that's outlined. That's not to say there's not something that's gonna be added to it, and that's easy to do. Now let's look at the city manager section, which is where we left off on Monday.
Can I suggest that
Please do.
this section turns into 24, not 40?
Oh, I agree. I agree.
No.
And I'll make note of that right here.
Yeah.
I think personally, the three, the mayor, the city council, and the
Maybe should be,
city manager should be right up front, boom, boom, boom.
maybe after form of government, after 4, probably 5, 6, and 7.
Yep.
What's the state gonna say to that, though, when that's out of order of how the original is?
Which doesn't.
They won't care, as long as we still
Well,
have.
It's gonna flow better.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
It'll
gonna
be
flow a
easier
lot better. Yeah.
for
Yeah, we had
city
this,
residents to be able to read it
Yeah,
and
we-
understand it.
we had discussed that thing. So we got that number 4 now as a form of government. 5, 6, 7 should probably be these units.
But you require now citizens to look at the old one in its entirety, look at the new
No.
one in its entirety.
No, I think though we can do it so that the strike-throughs, we have to do this with the bylaws.
The number.
I see what you're saying, we gotta make it so it's easy so that we can see the original and what the new is. Maybe even if we just did a disclaimer on we reordered. But the original's still gonna be there.
I would hope, because this was something I didn't feel was handled really well at the last vote. I wished as a new voter, as a voter who was really new to the area at the time, that I could see side-by-side documents so that I could have like reviewed specific changes side by side. But I will say now, I do think there's a way to do it if you don't go, if it doesn't. Like, it would be easier if everything matched. You could just do a line-by-line comparison. Yes, but I do also agree that it will flow a lot better if we do some rearranging. If we do that, then what I think we need to do is make a document that is available to voters at the time of voting that says, you know, city manager section number 5 or whatever, formally section.
That's what we did.
So that people can easily flip to it. I don't think it has to be exactly line from line. In fact, I did feel like that at first, but the more I think about it, the more I think we kind of do ourselves and the charter, mostly the charter, a disservice. But I do think that we need to then have a companion document at the time of voting that makes it clear where all these sections move to so that voters can see that.
Because even if we rearrange things, we're still gonna have the strike-throughs of original, and we're still gonna have the bolding. We still have to
Yeah.
format it the way the legislature wants it, so the original will still be there, even if we rearrange things. The wording. Let's look at city manager.
Well, maybe we could do a working document that coincides with this. I mean, it's not ever, because you're right, city manager in our new charter shouldn't be the last thing. It is in this one because
Because
it
we didn't
didn't
have
have it before. So that makes it tough, but you could do that along with the current charter, and show where it was struck out, and then show the working document where you did that, and then show the proposed, so you'd have 3 documents. The proposed reordered charter.
Yeah.
Would that make it easier if you did all 3?
Well, when we finish
You
going
remember,
through.
you're forced into the mode of the amendment. You're taking the old one and you're forced into saying, this is the amendment. You don't have a third document. They're only looking at the thing that they have to vote on. You're forced, remember, as you go
Yeah.
through, you're forced
When
to
you're
that
voting on it, yeah.
document.
Well, I mean, trying to follow along this old charter and trying to keep it in that sequence is a nightmare. This is stuff you're not even gonna have in.
Well, I think maybe once we finish and
Yeah.
get the document together, some of this might work its way out. I'm not sure we're quite there yet. And once I get it formatted and we can see what it's gonna look like on paper.
But Ann is correct, because we're doing an amendment, we're not doing a strikeout amendment.
Right.
Right.
We're doing an amendment, so you're only going to, the voters are only going to see what the proposed amendment is. They're not going to see the complete document. Unless you provide for a strikeout amendment, which would then provide the language that's boundaries and all of that, and anything, so everything would be in there, pieces that aren't changed, along with pieces that are changed.
Oh, and that would actually be,
So you're
like the
good.
strikeouts would live in the document.
Strikeouts would live in the document, as well as the new language that would be underlined, and anything that's not underlined is original language.
So if we do that, we have to basically follow the format of the current.
Because you would still provide, so if you change, like, if you put, say, move this from 40 to 23, in 40 you would strike all that out. And you would strike out whatever 24 is in here. Move it, I mean, it's moving things around.
But do you have to describe it?
In
That's
the
whole point.
strikeout document, you don't. But you can put a document together that would give you either a side-by-side that says this is moved to here, or this has been removed. But you can make those documents.
But I don't think we want to strike all documents. I mean,
Well, that's what the last proposal was, right?
Well, the last, yeah,
We
the
saw
last,
nothing
yeah.
of the original document.
right, but you're not, I mean, that's a whole brand new, which is a strikeout. But you're working from what you have in statute now, so you're using the same order of numbers, all of that. So you're gonna see if you do a strikeout, you're gonna see the original language. I don't know what was in what you saw as far as I think,
So what you've got.
but what the voters saw was just a change because it was,
No, what the
No.
voters saw was in the thing that they voted on, was just the titles.
and that's all you, and that's all
10
you're going,
sections.
and that's all you're gonna see in this too.
And then they would have had to read the document somewhere
Right.
else, all those documents somewhere else to figure it out.
Yep,
And
but that's
the real problem with the just one vote, yes. Do you want this new one? Yes. Means that you have to basically agree with every single change that was made, as opposed to saying, well, I like that idea about the city manager, I'll vote for that section, but I don't like this thing about debt limits at all. I'm not gonna vote for this whole thing because there's things in it I don't like.
so if we're changing 16 things, you're proposing 16 votes.
If you did it right,
16
yes.
individual votes,
I mean,
yeah.
that'd be
I have thought about this
turn of the century before.
because I'm thinking about it from a voter's standpoint. I've been thinking about this a lot. But here's the problem as I see it with that. Because I like the idea, honestly, of having somebody vote on different sections. Maybe not all 40, but having groups, sections. But here's where I see the problem with that. If we change a part of it that refers to another part of it, like if we say, this now falls under the purview of the city manager, and that gets passed, but then the part about the city manager doesn't get passed, now we have a document that's in disagreement with one another. So I don't see a good way to get there. I mean, this has been keeping me awake at night. Literally, this is to me the big question about how this gets passed, is whether or not it goes before the voters as one document or as sections that get voted on individually. With the actual way of changing from a strong mayor to a council manager form of government, I don't see a way of doing a sectioned out vote. It really, I think, is gonna have to be a consensus, and even if you don't agree with everything in the charter, I would hope, because I don't think anybody right now agrees with everything in the charter. It's the charter we have, but people don't agree with all of it. They can't because so much of it's outdated.
Right.
So I think that hopefully, I would hope, that we can look at a new charter that we've all worked really hard on and dedicated a lot of our time and thought to, and say, I might not agree with all of it. Like, I don't think, maybe even us on the council are gonna see perfectly eye to eye on everything. The charter that Mike would write, if we were just left to our own devices, would be much different than the one I would write or the one Charlie or Sharon would write. But I think that we can agree, maybe this doesn't have everything that I would want in my perfect Newport, but it gets, I'm comfortable with voting to approve it because it gets us a lot closer to where we need to be.
See, that was the attitude that the council had last time. They thought everybody would go with whatever they put together. And the answer was no. So
Well,
I really think that, I know you have set yourselves when you move sections to pushing yourself towards a whole yes or no. But you could keep the sections, or you could even say section 7 is now, or section 40 is, make it 23 when it reads later on. In other words, you've got the old charter says city manager in 40. You could just say, cross out 40 and put the 23,
But then-
et cetera.
but
And then
then-
you've got it all.
where
and-
does that
and
get
put-
us though, if like somebody approves section 4 but doesn't approve section 6, and section 6 is directly tied into section 4?
You can't change, the only way that you can change an individual section is you can add to it. You can modify the language to have, the same subject matter, but you can't subtract, unless you intend to totally subtract that idea.
Can I intervene here and say I don't think we're ready for this conversation?
But you're making it.
Because we need to finish up, we've got to
Okay,
go
that's
through
fine.
and finish up.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
get our updates done, and then we can have this conversation.
Sharon,
Yes, Dennis, sorry, I didn't ignore you.
I just want to interject. I agree with you, where I think we're hitting on something that we don't have to at this point, because we're losing sight of the fact that it's going to go before the lawyers who are going to look at it. They're going to send it back to have any changes made, if any have to be made. It's going to go before the public again, it's going to go before the city council, and then it's going to go out for a vote. So I think by the time that all gets refined, let's say, you're going to have a pretty good document where I don't think it's going to get voted down if we do our job.
Well, and I'd like to say I think the process this time around has changed,
Yes, it has.
which is, we've tried to work really hard on that.
so why, I mean, before we move on, why can't we just take, because I do understand, if you renumber stuff, remove stuff, even though people are gonna not be able to say, okay, so this is now number 5, where the hell was it before, what's gone? So if we just followed this process, it would, the end result would be a charter that doesn't flow very well, but it would be very easy to compare this with this, because you're just gonna keep this, you're gonna keep this, you're gonna strike that, and you go on and on and on. If, and then there will be new places that are added that don't have anything to do with it, but you can follow it along. And it won't flow as well, so city manager would still be number 40, but it's gonna be in there. And maybe that is something, so when people are really looking at it to see what's changed, then we're gonna present the same, our current charter in order with the changes. And it may not flow the way we'd like it to flow, but you know what? As long as all the stuff's in there, who really cares about whether it flows or not? Because people are gonna have to be able to understand it. I do, however, think that we have to propose it as one document, because to
And that's
doing
what-
it individually, I can see where you're gonna be 4 years down the road, still only got 3 things
Mike,
passed.
do you know?
At a
other-
cost of $50,000.
Sounds like other cities within the state of Vermont have been doing this regularly. Are they doing whole or do they go piecemeal?
I think it
I
depends
think
what
it's
you
probably a mix.
Or next, yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends what your goal is.
Nine
Did they vote on
individual
that?
sections
They-
separately that they voted
So
on.
there's
So,
both
here-
ways are done.
Here's the problem. So if we are changing, I'm gonna go back to this again. If we are changing the form of government, then this charter doesn't apply almost everywhere. Not everywhere, but the majority of it doesn't apply because it gave the mayor the power to do everything.
Because that's what it was when it was
Because that's
written.
what it was. So when you're changing the document, it's hard to say, okay, well, we're just gonna have to vote on one section because we're just gonna take one section out of here and vote on the city manager section. Because it's not gonna, you can't, if you voted on it and changed it, it would conflict with all the rest of the chart. That's the problem, because we've changed everything. So that's my problem with the individual votes. If we were only gonna go in and say, okay, we're only changing 2 things, how the city clerk is elected and what the powers of the city manager are, or whatever. That's the only 2 things we were gonna change, and that would be really easy to have 2 votes, separate them out. But this is a strong mayor, this is not. And
The other thing
there's so
that-
many, every item in here says the mayor shall have the power to. The mayor shall, you're gonna get rid of all of those, pretty much.
Well, I don't think it's in as many sections as you say it is, but at any rate, there's another thing that you could do, which is to bundle a subject matter, like the city manager, the mayor, and the council sections, and get an approval on just those things as one area of subject matter, and then a chance to vote on another.
You're talking approve a charter change for 3 sections that doesn't agree with the rest of the charter. That's what you're asking. That's
Now,
my
what
problem.
I'm
That's
really
my
asking,
problem.
what I'm
Anyways.
asking for is individual.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're there yet, but I mean, that's, I don't think you can change one section when there's already 10 sections to do. You'd have to change all 10.
I think that,
before, so.
my brain can't even think that way until we've gone through to see what all the changes are.
Yeah, so let's do that.
So let's
But
look at city manager.
Do me a favor, take this charter and look and see everywhere where it says the mayor shall, the mayor shall, the mayor shall. the
Yeah, I
mayor
will.
shall. Okay. And you'll see that's what I'm doing.
Hopefully you can do that on Google Docs with some kind of word search thing.
Okay, so where are we at?
40, the city manager.
Well, then it's 10 o'clock.
So the city managers section,
Yep.
we went, again, we have a place to start. And to do that, we went through and looked at the original, we looked at the proposals. And again, we're thinking, what are the roles of the city manager? And one of the issues that came up in the past was that too much power to the city manager, not enough checks and balances. And I will say, I'll be honest, I felt that way myself.
We all do.
So keeping that in mind, whenever we saw the term city manager, and where it said sole authority, that kind of made my hair stand up a little. So if we go through what we have here and see and critique it, this one started with it
says A, it's like an introduction.
It's just a description.
It's a description, yeah,
Which
and we
would
took
be-
that
I
description
don't
from,
think you need an A there, I think it's
just
just.
get rid of it, thank you.
Hmm?
When you had that A,
Oh, just
you had a
no
B on the
number on
back.
it, just get rid of the A.
Just
Not-
get rid
not
of
the
You
the
had a
whole-
B on the
Not,
back.
not the wording, just the letter A. Is that
Yeah,
what
I
you're
think
saying?
it's there, Mike, because for this one, this A part has, what the duties and powers are, and it's listed out. But then this one, unlike the council one, had a B about salary and bonding. Now, the bonding, I got that in the loop, we didn't know
Yeah,
if
we
it
got that
stays
on.
there,
on-
or if it goes into the bonding section, or both. And the bonding section, if it's gonna stay here, it stays here until we go work on that
Because
bonding.
A are powers and duties, B is their salary and how it's fixed, which is not a power and a duty.
But it all goes
But I
with
don't
city
even know if
manager.
you need it.
If you need what?
B.
The fact that the salary is fixed by city council, yeah, is
The
that a part of
salary-
your charter? Isn't that kind
The
of a?
salary is gonna be in the contract.
I think you need it there. I think what you need to do, the first sentence is introductory sentence. A is the city manager shall have the following powers and duties, send them all out. Then decide if you need B or not once you get there.
That's kind of.
That's a good idea.
so,
Yeah.
Let's go
So
through it.
your A is in the wrong place. It should be at the beginning of the second sentence. Oh, sorry, third sentence.
It should be,
Yeah.
so A should
Yeah.
go right before the city manager
Shall have the following powers and
Yeah.
duties. Yeah,
So A should be there.
yeah.
And the first part of it is what, just a
It's just
a
the,
definition?
it's
Yeah.
the open, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a introductory clause.
So then A goes, the city manager shall have the following powers and duties, because that is what we're describing, as powers and duties.
Oh, not,
That's
city
easy.
manager shall be responsible to the city council,
Right.
that's part of the introduction.
That's not a power or a duty.
Yeah, got it.
That's a responsibility.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a responsibility. So keep that up.
yeah. A
Get rid
becomes,
of A and then drop down and put A, city manager shall have the following powers and duties.
got it,
That's
Done.
it, yeah.
whoops. Got it, okay.
Yeah.
Which the original is what we struck through.
Yeah, so that part that was struck out was what was described in the first part of the chart, which,
Yeah. So, powers and duties, are we okay with those terms? We went back and forth on that too. It is what we're
Yeah.
talking about, right?
yeah,
The laws and, see the laws and ordinances are fully executed. That's kind of given. To attend all meetings as required by the council, and then we stopped it there. And that word, that in check original wording, that's only because I think I deleted some of the original and da-da-da-da-da, that's a note to me now, guys. Oops, semicolons. No, not semicolons. To recommend for adoption to the council, and then to the city council, such measures as he or she deems necessary or expedient. You okay with that? 4. Okay, 4 is probably gonna take some more talking here. We need to make sure this lines up with what we just did with city council.
Well, we haven't agreed that they appoint the department heads.
Say that again, please, Ann.
You haven't agreed that they appoint department heads.
Right.
You asked for the
yeah, we kind of
people.
did on the council.
So we did on the council, but for city manager. Okay, how do we word it? How do we word it on council?
Well, it was a appoint, direct, supervise, and remove the city councils, and then department heads, you put a different, mine's just a note, but you actually reworded it.
To appoint excepting as otherwise provided for by this act, all officers, and then I added in department heads and employees of the municipality, and to ensure that the duties of such officers and employees are performed as the city council may designate. So that needs to be redone, reworded, I don't think we did.
Just get rid of department heads, probably. Because to appoint except as otherwise provided for by this act.
Which
Provided
it is
in the-
under the council part.
In the council part.
Yeah, so just
Yeah.
get, if you strike, if you just get rid of it, you don't have to strike it, because that's a.
No, because it's our word, it's not an original.
How are officers different from department heads, by the way?
Is it the same thing?
I would think so.
No problem.
So maybe you get rid of both of those and leave it to appoint except as otherwise provided by this act. Employees of all employees of the municipality.
But
So,
all
but-
employees instead of officers.
Does the city manager hire public works summer help, or does the department head do that?
Yeah, but it's still.
But under his
it's still under
supervision.
his control.
Under
right?
Under his
So
control.
he can,
He can delegate that to
Exactly.
his department head.
And it
Gotcha.
says that down,
Got it.
if you look in the yellow portion that I put in there, it explains that. So it's his responsibility, city managers, but he may delegate this
Right.
authority
Yep.
to,
Okay, so
Yeah.
accepting is otherwise provided by the.
strike the word accepting to and put in less there.
Say what?
The word accepting
Yeah, put in what?
unless,
unless
Sorry,
otherwise.
yeah.
as, unless is otherwise.
As otherwise provided
Yeah.
for by this
Yeah,
act.
keep that consistent.
Get rid of all officers and,
Yep,
and,
and.
All, so it'd be all employees.
And again, later on, the duties of such
all
employees.
of the all employees of the municipality.
Yeah.
And to ensure that the duties of such officers
Well, I
and
think you,
employees know.
don't you want the city manager to have oversight of the duties of the officers,
Yes.
right? So you don't want to strike that.
No, 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 no.
They may confuse officers though with police officers, so.
Yeah, I think
that's
you might
what
want
I'm-
to
that's
just
exactly
change,
what I
change
want
the
to
word to
Department
department
heads.
heads, yeah.
Why not municipal officers?
I still think it's gonna think police.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
department
So we
heads.
get rid of such.
Yeah,
Okay,
duties of department. heads
duties
and employees.
of,
Department heads and
Department
employees.
heads, comma, no, and employees, department heads and employees that perform
That's
as
the
a
second time
city
around.
council may
Right.
designate.
yeah,
So all the part in yellow that you guys are looking at, I kind of rewrote that for a talking point, that's why it's in yellow. So I tried to describe it, we discussed this at the last meeting, but we didn't put it in wording, and at your request, Mike, you said, can you kind of put that in wording somewhere? So I did that, and so nobody's really reviewed that at all, so you might want to read it and see if that fits.
Well, here again, don't you want to put the city managers empowered to suspend or terminate any municipal employee unless provided elsewhere by this act? Because you've set up a whole system
Yeah.
of termination for department heads that are under review by the council.
Unless otherwise provided, yeah, that same,
so can we go back to that section and just, and just copy it into here as well?
I think all you gotta put is unless otherwise provided, but with that, after,
Put that where?
suspend or terminate any municipal employee or staff member. You put it there, right, unless otherwise Or would you put it at the end of beneficial for the city, unless otherwise provided for by the city? I don't know where you put that. What do you think?
I think it goes out.
I think that language of when deemed beneficial for the city is not the standard by which anybody gets suspended or terminated. It's got to be by either the union contract or other criteria for, who gets fired.
Is that the same thing as for just cause?
No,
No.
No.
Remember, we're at will, so.
we're at will except where they say that it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe you could get the when deemed beneficial for the city out of
Yeah,
there.
I think you just strike that.
Just strike it.
Maybe
Then
that
do we-
oversight.
Do we then add, do we strike it and then replace it with unless?
Unless, yeah, unless otherwise.
Where am I starting the striking?
After oversight,
Yeah,
After oversight, take out when deemed beneficial
for the city, yeah.
for the city,
yeah.
okay, and put in,
and put in unless as otherwise provided by the city.
so we tend to use that, otherwise provided by this act, or this charter, or this
Yeah.
law.
Yeah, I think
Well,
we
I
should
think
say
you, I don't
charter.
think you need that. Your last sentence covers that. All personnel actions, including hiring, layoffs, promotions, shall be conducted in accordance with collective bargaining agreements based on the individual's training proficiency.
So you're saying stop after,
After oversight,
under their oversight, period,
yeah.
and then because unless otherwise provided is in that bottom sentence.
Yeah, it's telling the city manager and everybody else that you have to abide by collective bargaining agreements.
What about as follows? As described herein, the city manager is empowered to suspend or terminate any municipal employee or staff member under their oversight as provided below. So that gets the criteria in of under what circumstances they're allowed to. I mean, the language can be different, but the thought is that you described it below.
Prior to this dismissal or suspension of any department head or director, the city manager shall consult with and obtain approval from the city council during an executive session of a properly warned meeting. Correct?
That jives with what we put in under council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Furthermore, the city council may delegate.
Manager.
City manager. Do we need the word furthermore? May delegate the supervisory authority to subordinates regarding personnel within their respective department or offices. May delegate this supervisory
Yeah, I
authority.
don't think we need to furthermore.
What if we just rearranged the way this flows?
Move
Okay.
the prior to under the sentence we just covered.
So, move the prior to dismissal or suspension of department heads, is move that down and move up. The city manager may delegate the supervisory authority,
Yeah, I agree.
and then
Okay.
put all the rest of that under that, and then have the department heads as the last.
I think that is more, makes
Yeah.
more sense.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if I did this right.
You just cut and paste.
I did.
Yeah, okay,
It's where I cut
Yeah.
and pasted too.
yeah.
City manager is empowered to suspend or terminate any municipal employee or staff member under their oversight as provided below.
No, I wouldn't even put that. Just
Stop at oversight?
Stop oversight, yeah.
without
Just 1 second. Yeah. The city manager may delegate the supervisory authority to subordinates regarding personnel within their respective departments or offices. All personnel actions, including hiring, layoffs, and promotions, shall be conducted in accordance with any active collective bargaining agreements and based on the individual's training, proficiency, and job performance. Prior to the dismissal or suspension of any department head or director, the city manager shall consult with and obtain approval from the city council during an executive session of a properly warned meeting. Did it cover whatever you were gonna say, Pam?
She didn't hear you.
Oh, Pam, did that cover what you were?
No. There's been a lot of back and forth about at-will versus
For cause.
just cause or cause. And still in the city council piece, we have appoint, direct, supervise, and remove for cause in number 2. And yet at-will is what the state says, which we all know. And here it's-
Where in number 2 are you talking about?
And city council number 2. The city council can hire and fire technically the city manager, city clerk, city attorney, and city treasurer. However, we've got for cause here, which has been something that's been discussed. But it's still a state with at will. And here we've clarified a whole load of how this can happen, because there's union involvement, etc. Does the council remove for cause or remove at will? I mean, I would hope both, but you
Can you
gotta have
can you
it.
clarify
clear.
something? Where does it say for clause in our
Clause.
city council?
Number 2, in the city council draft document, it says
Oh.
appoint, direct, supervise, and remove for cause.
Yeah.
That's just those people.
Yes.
Just the city manager, city clerk, city attorney, city treasurer, not
Right.
department heads and not employees,
Right.
because they have collective bargaining.
Yes, they do. Well, department heads don't.
Department heads don't.
No, but department heads are generally at will.
Yes, but you're saying that the city manager can remove them with agreement of the council. Fair enough. But you're saying it differently here. And I think you've got to get it to match somehow.
Well, so you're saying we need to treat the city manager, city clerk, city attorney, and city treasurer the same as any other employee?
I do.
I don't know.
Well, why are they special? And I'm
Because their duties are way more important than.
right. So how do you prove for cause? And just remember, this historically happened. They tried to go for cause, or they tried to follow the at-will, and that particular city manager threatened their little lives, and everybody backed off. She did.
Can we agree to keep that in, and if the lawyer has a real problem with it?
Also, as Pam just pointed out, you mentioned city attorney there. You don't have to remove a city attorney for cause.
Yeah, he's no
That's a
longer.
contract, that's a
Right.
contract. Which,
Well, city manager's under contract
pardon,
as
Right.
well.
No,
who else is?
City
city
manager.
manager.
And your city clerk and your city treasurer will be
Yeah.
if you change,
Chief of
Probably,
police.
they'll all be under contract.
yeah.
Yes.
And the ones that aren't under contract are different. I mean, that's what's
Well,
different.
except they do have a contract.
They have a collective bargaining contract, which spells out how you can do everything.
But
Well, do you
the,
need,
I
do you
noticed,
need for cause in that?
Huh?
Do you actually have to have for cause?
Up in the city the city council part?
Yeah, because
Do we need that for cause? Okay, that's what my question
You
is.
certainly don't for the city attorney. You can decide to end that contract and hire somebody else.
Right,
And that's been done, so
but do we need for cause in there?
that was the question.
I don't think it's appropriate because they're not, the other people are employees of the city.
Probably not, because you're
The
gonna have a
city attorney-
contract with them
You
anyway.
get contracts.
city attorney's not.
So I'm cool with on 2, city council just
Getting rid of
getting rid
that
of for
clause.
cause and it makes the other ones.
Do you have employment contracts for your employees in the city? If they're not under collective
You mean
bargaining?
like the summer kids who are mowing lawns and things like that? I doubt it, but I don't know that.
And same for department heads, if they're not under employment, if they're not in the union,
They're not.
You know,
if they're not, then you have an employment contract with them.
I don't think so.
I doubt it, they're just an employee.
So if you don't,
They're called
have to-
non-union employees.
yeah. But I guess the question
Unless they're
is,
contract.
if they're gonna be at will and,
They are.
yeah, so do you want them at will or do you want to say that they can only be terminated for cause?
And you also should look at
In
that.
my world, everybody I ever employed was that role, so, you
Yeah.
know,
Well, me too, but,
so
But
I
you
don't
should-
have a problem with it.
yeah. But if you're not, if they're not under employment contract, then they're at will.
Correct.
There's a personnel policy that might have something to say about that as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
I think if we just
Well,
take for cause
Yeah.
out there, then we just
Yeah.
are
Let's do-
default covered
Yeah.
by
Yeah,
Gone,
outlaw.
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, Jennifer's gone. I was going to say she might have something to add, given that this has been an issue that's gone around and around and around.
and like I said, when we're done and we're going back over and people were presenting, that might be a question that comes up.
so she brought up a good point, there's probably a personnel policy that describes
Yeah,
it.
that we need to.
Why can't we add that after collective bargaining agreement, personnel
Enforce for city manager?
personnel
I don't
policies?
see, I
Not
don't
for
see
city.
you putting a policy in, incorporating it into the charter.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
So it shall be conducted in accordance with any active collective bargaining agreement, personnel policy, and based on.
Any active collective bargaining agreement or personnel policy?
Yeah,
Of course, the personnel policy changes.
that's okay.
Yeah, but then I think
Yeah.
it's
Doesn't
allowed
say
to.
can.
So there's a collective bargaining agreement.
you're not,
Right.
yeah, you're not.
That's why it's
citing any
active, right?
specific
Any
policy.
active.
Any
Yeah.
active collective
So that
bargaining
way,
agreements?
if the personnel policy is set different, because I mean, that's probably why they created the personnel policy.
Yeah. I think that's much clearer, thank you for bringing that up.
So I'm adding in with after active collective bargaining agreements and personnel policies,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
based on the individual da-da-da.
Well,
Do
then
you
you
want
wouldn't,
and or?
you wouldn't need the and.
Well, wait a minute, shouldn't the charter dictate what the personnel policy should be as opposed to the personnel policy dictating what the charter means?
No, because it's like, should the charter dictate what the collective bargaining agreement's going to be? And your personnel policy may change from year to year, or not year to year, but.
I mean,
whatever.
personnel policies cover so many things that are really
Right.
outside the scope of a charter. Personnel
Yeah.
policy can cover what kind of insurance you offer and all kinds of things.
Color hair you can
Yeah.
have.
So, but that's, therefore, it should not be referred to in there.
Well,
I was just
I think
suggesting
if
you look at it, not suggesting you adopt it.
Well, no, I mean, I think though that we should, I think that we should agree that if we have a personnel policy, we should follow it.
Yeah.
I think that's fine to put in the charter because I think that
That's all this
we
is
sh
saying.
I think the only thing that sets in stone is that if there is an active, it's not even saying there has to be an active
Right.
personnel policy, because if
Just
we
say-
decided not to have one, it would just default to at-will employment policy.
Yeah.
So this is just saying that if there is an active personnel policy, it will be adhered to. That's all it's saying. And I think that's fair, because otherwise why have personnel policies? Why not just always defer to at-will employment as outlined by the
Yeah,
state?
I
Yeah.
agree with
Yeah.
you.
So,
But make that an or, not an and.
I did.
Okay.
Get rid of that. I did, okay.
And personnel policies change, like, we just changed the personnel policy for the ambulance service, because never in my wildest dreams did I think we we would have to worry about pink and purple hair and ear gauges and such things that are, could be, you know, what people are wearing. I mean, just things change.
As they're
the
going
way
through
society-
crime scene, as they're going through
And
ambulance
so,
call,
it was getting a little carried away. We had people complaining and saying, you know, this person picked me up. We also had somebody that had an ear gauge get grabbed by
Yeah.
a out-of-control patient for safety purposes and have their ear ripped and all this kind of stuff. You know, you don't contemplate certain things, you know, before. So we just changed it. You can dye your hair if you want, it has to be a natural color. And it was, but you can decide what professionalism you want
Right.
in whatever you're doing. And some of it was safety.
Yeah.
You know, so, so we had to change the personnel policy, so that's what I'm saying. That thing changes
Don't know
from,
what you don't know.
It blows my mind.
You don't know what you
the
don't
hospital
know, that's
hasn't
big.
changed theirs, but
Huh?
their practices. 'Cause
Could you just at least put a question mark there, because when you come back to it, there may be some arguments from why you wouldn't want to include it in your charter.
Include
As a
what?
personnel policy.
Well, I-
Include mentioning it,
I'm not following.
okay.
Say it again.
well,
I know, I want to hear what you have to say, I'm just not following.
Oh, okay. I'm a little worried about including the personnel policy in the charter, a reference to the personnel policy in the charter, because, as you say, it may include all sorts of things that really the charter doesn't need to address.
all this is really saying is if you're gonna hire, lay off people, that it's got to be in accordance with your collective bargaining agreement and your personnel policy.
Right, but that does not cover the city manager or the treasurer.
No.
No, we're not talking about them at this point.
No, I know, but that was the act clause.
Yeah, we took that out,
Yeah, okay, I think you'll still get some blowback here.
Right.
probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we can put a question mark at it, but I put it in because I just think, in other words, you're just saying if you fire somebody, you have to adhere to not only the collective bargaining agreement, but the city's personnel policy.
Absolutely.
So it's saying you have to refer to that, so you can't go outside of it.
Okay,
I
I've got it
mean,
down.
that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I put it, okay. Another role of the city manager to prepare and submit to the council such reports as may be required by that body or as he or she may deem advisable to submit.
So, yeah, I would change, for changing language, I would, to submit to the council.
That's the exact
I would say
wording in the
that.
current charter.
Yeah.
This is the
Any
current.
any reports as may be required, comma. We don't need by that body, because it's already established, it's a council that's.
Strike through that.
Yeah, or as the city manager may deem necessary, or may be.
Instead of he or she.
Yeah.
So just stop it after that body? Is that what you're saying?
No, just
As
cross
the
out
city
by the body
manager.
and then say, and as this, or as the city manager may be advisable.
Yeah, so it's like such,
We'll just strike
Yeah.
out by that body.
So it now reads to prepare and submit to the council such reports
I
as
would
may be
just, I would
required.
strike such too, you don't need
Reports.
submit to the council reports.
That
as
may be required.
Yeah.
Or as the city manager may deem advisable
Yeah.
to submit. Do I need to submit at the
I
end?
don't think so.
No.
Okay. And then the next one is
The
the
next
same
one
kind of
again
thing.
is direct wording from our current charter.
So, I guess it could be up to the council, but keep the council fully advised. See how the council can make that determination of when they want, do they want,
Monthly or
monthly?
bi-monthly or
Yeah.
what? Keep the council fully advised of financial conditions.
I don't think you need it monthly, I think you might need it daily if you've got an emergency situation.
Yeah.
So
occurring.
should-
Any,
You
at
don't wanna
any point,
limit it
at
to-
any point.
Yeah.
Let's say something comes up
So
where
I
we
like this,
find
I
out.
like it being open like this.
You don't have enough money to pay out the bills.
Exactly, that's a financial condition we need to know now.
I think maybe, as may be required by the council.
That doesn't get initiated by the council because the city manager's gotta let the council know when they don't have enough money in the bank to pay the bills. So the council's not gonna ask every day, do we have enough money to sign these warrants? The city manager's gotta apprise the council, you don't have enough money, don't sign the warrants. So I don't think you can put a monthly on it.
No, I'm not saying monthly, I'm
Or
saying,
a request by the council to produce that. It's a
If
duty
this
of,
is,
Just says fully
if this is
advised,
the
that means
original,
you have
if
to
this is
advise.
the original, do we need to change, do we need to do anything to it? Is it that big of a deal that we change anything on 6?
No, I think this language still gives the council authority to come in and say, we want daily
Right.
reports, or just let us know monthly or whatever.
Okay, then the same thing, so with number 6, number 7, this is an exact one. This is the original, remember? With the consultation of the mayor, city manager, so with the consultation of the mayor, we will prepare and submit to the council a tentative budget for the next fiscal year on a date specified by the council. Was that exactly?
No.
That was a
well,
workshop.
we reworded that.
No, I reworded that, and
It wasn't exact, see, that's what I'm gonna have to do that.
no, because the original one just says to prepare and submit to the council a tentative budget for the next fiscal year.
For the next fiscal year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so if we add on a date
But it-
specified by
but
the
it-
council, do we want that?
Well, the date specified by the council makes them have to do it by a certain date. The original just, he has to
Didn't
do
say
it.
anything.
He has to do it at some point. It could be the day.
And you know, when, it has to be at the printer by a certain
Mhm.
date.
So it has to be out by the voter to the voters at a certain date.
Right.
So the proposal has to be approved by the council at a certain date.
So adding on a date specified by the council seems okay? Keep in there?
So,
And
I think
with the
it-
consultation of the mayor was put in there because I think in the mayor's duty, we basically said to work with the city manager to prepare a budget.
But
That's
I
it.
think you could say in
Yeah.
consultation with the mayor. Then change tentative to proposed.
Was tentative in the charter as it is now?
It was workshop.
Yeah, no, it was.
Was it?
It's in
No.
there, yeah, it
The
is.
original charter says tentative budget.
Yeah, so we're gonna change that word to
Mhm.
proposed, so I go
Yeah,
straight
because
through. and
that
now
follows
add.
with what we
Been saying.
Yeah.
did say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, so I have to do that straight?
Yeah,
out,
the only-
gotta
the
add
only
this, I gotta put
Thing I
this
was
in.
trying to do was put, that the council can specify a date we want this by. Instead of him just saying, well, it only says I have to submit one, I don't say when I have to submit it. This gives,
So can you add language that, well, yeah. I
I
think.
mean, I'm just
I think
thinking,
you're
for
good
doing
there.
budgets, sometimes we'd say,
Yeah, the council.
we want this done by December first. The next year, you may say, we want it done by January first, maybe we want it in October.
You want it October, November.
You know, so it gives you
Why not?
that, gives you the
There's
flexibility,
a lot of
other than
discretion.
putting a specific
Yeah.
date.
can I make a suggestion that you go back to tentative
Uh-oh.
for this reason?
Oh, Lord.
It's the council that approves the proposed budget. And the voters vote on that proposed budget. But before the council approves the proposed budget, the thing that the manager gives them is only a tentative budget.
Well, just switch the words around and put budget proposal. Because the mayor and the city manager can propose a budget to the council, right? So-
Yeah, it's being used twice. It's being used for them proposing it to council. But what the council does is they create a proposed budget that becomes part of the
From the
ordinance.
tentative budget.
So it's being used twice for different meanings. So the manager can't say what the proposed budget is that we're gonna vote on as citizens.
With the consultation of the mayor to prepare.
I think Mike recommended changing it to in consultation with the mayor.
In consultation.
Yes. And whether you use tentative or something else,
Preliminary might
a
work.
submitted budget, well, it's we already said submit to the council. Whatever you want to call it, it doesn't have to be tentative, but you may not want to use the proposed budget, because that appears in the annual report and everything else. That's the proposed budget that's been approved by council.
I'm fine leaving tentative, I don't think that,
It makes no difference one way or the other.
Now let's, since it's the original, let's leave it. Let's leave tentative and take out proposed. All right. The last, number 8 is exactly what was in our current charter. And to perform such other duties as the council may be required by ordinance or resolution. That's where the original stops. Should we have by the city council on there? No.
You could put city in front of council, if that's what you do.
I'm going to go through and redo that every
Okay.
That's, yeah.
Then you don't need the extra, to duplicate.
All right. Then
Speaking as a reminder.
we're keeping number 8 as is, without having anything else in there.
well, yeah.
But now that brings us to 9, 10, 11, and 12, which you'll see are highlighted. And this is the result of going through the proposed and looking at other duties that are part of the city manager's office, do we need these?
Can we go back?
Yeah.
I think that this was transcribed incorrectly.
Which one?
The 8. So it doesn't quite make sense the way that it's typed on the document you gave us today. But actually on,
Yeah, it is different.
so it says,
Oh, yeah, something wrong. Well,
the city manager, oops, no, I lost it.
And to perform such other duties,
As the council may determine by ordinance or resolution.
yeah, this says may be required.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither. 'Cause I would have been a cut and paste, I would have thought. Anyways. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I know what sometimes happens too, is I go back to the original if I forget to strike and I delete, so then I gotta go back to the original and get it back, that's what probably happened.
We all read it the way it ought to be.
All right, when we look at 9, the city manager shall direct and supervise the administration of all department offices and agencies of the city of Newport except as otherwise provided by this charter. Haven't we covered that?
Yeah, you covered it in what you originally called as A, I think, and it's the introduction that you now are going to have. And I just noticed in that first sentence, the city manager shall be the chief administrative officer of the city of Newport. You don't need the and in there, under the supervision, under the direction and supervision of the city
With the
council.
and?
Yeah, you're right.
Got it?
But that basically covers 9, I think.
Yeah, it's highlighted so we can have this conversation.
Well, it doesn't,
You don't think so? Okay.
It shows it.
it doesn't
shall
Direct and supervise the administration of all departments, where does it say that?
It doesn't mention it, I just got that out of being the chief administrative officer. But yeah, you outlined it a little better in knowing.
I'm fine with it either way. I don't necessarily think being redundant is, I'd rather be redundant than not explicit enough, I guess.
Okay.
But that's just my personal opinion. Mike, what do you think? You're our language, legislative
No, I
language
think
expert.
it's, we'll call me next week.
What?
Let's say I'll be next week.
So we're keeping,
I think, I mean, it is, let's see, it can be redundant, but I think it spells it out a little more.
okay, and this is an addition, so this is bold, this is blue. No, here. Are you happy with this one, Charlie? Dennis, I don't mean to be ignoring you. Are you?
Not a problem.
Okay. So are you okay with adding, the direct and supervision of, the administration of all department offices and agencies? We're on, thinking of the city manager, number 9.
Right. Mhm.
Does
Yeah,
he have the copy of this?
that sounds fine.
If he has, if he's online, okay. 10. City manager and the city council shall share the authority to contract with and direct the city attorney. The city council shall reserve the authority to approve contracts with the city attorney. Okay, but
That's really confusing.
yeah, we don't want city council stuff here in the city manager part, do we?
Well, do you want the city manager to have authority on contracts?
I didn't think you did.
Not,
Or
not,
anyone.
not without, it's a shared responsibility.
Well, but it's more to consult, or to be a consultant to the city council. I think you want the city council to have sole authority on signing contracts,
Right.
right? Is that, or do I have that wrong?
It's not a city manager.
No, but you sure want the city manager dealing with it.
Right.
So what about just the city manager, shall
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
share,
So how does it work now? Can the city manager consult the city attorney without approval from the council?
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
Can the city manager at this time sign a contract
No.
with an attorney? So can we just say that the city manager shall have the authority to consult with the city attorney?
So, just my opinion. So if the city council says, wants the city manager to meet with city attorney to come up with a contract for the city, it has to be reviewed by the city council, and then they give the authority of the city manager to sign that contract. Not
Isn't
on,
there another place where it says that the mayor is the only
Yes.
one that can sign and seal it?
I don't know if it doesn't matter.
And it might be a small.
I thought I read that somewhere.
Probably in the old stuff, yes.
Dennis, you have a Dennis has a hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify this. You're not thinking about giving the city manager the ability to contact a lawyer without the say-so of the city council, I think.
We've already got that.
that's what they've been
Because
doing.
you could end up with a city manager who's contacting your city lawyer for just about any topic.
We did.
And
Yeah.
if city council does not know what's going on, you're gonna get a bill from your lawyer and say, what the hell is all this for?
I think that's what we had under Laura Dogan, if I'm not mistaken,
It is
Dennis,
what we
unfortunately.
Yeah, but so we need to specify
Yeah, that's that last line in there. The city manager shall have the authority to work with the city attorneys to carry out the business of said city. That's what you're talking about, Dennis?
Yeah.
Yeah,
with-
yeah, maybe we need to,
With the approval of the city council,
yeah,
or with prior knowledge of the city council, something like that.
I think approval.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because in the current charter, it says that really the only thing on the city attorney, the clause for the city attorney just says that they can speak with the mayor and the council. It doesn't mention,
because we didn't have a city.
right, but then if you go to the city manager part, it doesn't mention them having it doesn't mention anything about the city attorney. So as of right now, our current charter doesn't prevent, but it also doesn't support them working with the city attorney when he, so I think we just need to determine,
So-
I don't think we need to necessarily go off precedent, we just need to determine what we think that should look like going forward.
So if we put on that last sentence, the city manager with the city council approval shall have the authority to work with the city attorney to carry out the business of the city as needed.
Can we go back then to who actually signs the contracts? You have the city manager signing it. It's a really simple way of fooling the council, and it's been done.
I don't understand why the city manager has to have approval to sign a contract.
Because we had a city manager who signed contracts that nobody knew about.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Why can't we say that only the council has the ability to contract with the attorney?
Yes, sign contracts. We were going to add that's section 10 of the old charter. And we were going to add that to the council's duties, but you said you could come back to that.
And whose signature is actually going to go on it? You don't know the council signing it.
No.
Is that something that the mayor could do?
That's the mayor, I
Right,
think.
and that should be,
So
yeah,
I know, like, unfortunately, my experience comes from business, retail business. I mean, that's where I've worked my entire life. And how you would handle that in that realm would be, you would say, by the council or an officer thereof, or you would say by the CEO or an officer thereof. And that way the CEO could, or the council or somebody, could definitely appoint somebody to do that, but ultimately, the CEO is still on the hook for, legally, even if like the CEO said, you're my officer, you can sign contracts, and I did that, and I did do that.
Yeah.
But then, if it goes to court, the CEO is still the one that has to show up and the business is on the hook. I personally don't, but then I can see how that could be a problem. I mean, I
In a
just,
municipality, it can be a
yeah, I
problem.
just don't, personally, this is my opinion, I don't understand why the city manager would be signing a contract.
Because we've had a couple of city managers who assumed that they would, took control of it and got us into a lot of trouble.
So can we spell out in the charter if we had an agreement that that shouldn't happen? I mean, maybe we're not, I don't know. I personally feel like I would be comfortable saying the city manager does not have the authority to sign a contract.
We should say who does.
Yeah,
Not who
right,
doesn't.
exactly.
It was the council, and usually each council member signs off on these things. You got 5 signatures on a lot of things.
I don't know, I never contracted, I was mayor for only 4 years, and I never contracted with a city lawyer. We didn't need them.
Oh, we were just talking about contracts in general.
Yeah, well, I kind of am.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you've got collective bargaining agreements. With
We
the
all
city
signed,
manager.
we all signed
all
off
signed
on
off.
those. We
But
all did.
big deal contracts like grants for multiple $1 million should never go to city council. The city manager signing off on those. But there does need to be a signature.
We all had to sign off on those.
but I guess what I'm
Council,
saying is that
during that vote,
it's,
after that vote thing.
and this is a real question, this isn't rhetorical. Is there a situation, I don't even know who could answer this, where the city manager would need the authority to sign a contract? Because I'm kind of personally in favor of saying the city manager doesn't sign contracts.
Charlie?
Well, I don't know, is a loan for a piece of equipment a contract or is that not a
I think that's a contract.
contract? Because he certainly should be able to sign
It is a
those.
contract.
Huh?
It is a contract.
Yeah, so he should be able to sign those.
Who should be able to sign on the loan? Just the city manager?
Hmm?
You're saying council should?
If it's been approved by the city council, yeah.
If, there's your key, if it's been approved by the city
Right.
council.
And we've had things.
Well, like the vac truck that we just
So like, we
bought.
purchased 10 ambulances, we purchased 1 or 2 ambulances a year. I'm the president of the board, I don't sign the purchasing, but we approve it in a meeting.
What percent?
Huh?
Jeff, the,
My chief administrative officer.
We've certainly had people bypass what was called normal practice to sign off on something.
Now, the contract with the towns, so we have 23 towns, gores, whatever.
Yeah.
I sign all of those.
Right.
So the contracts for services, I sign all of those. I sign a lot of bank documents I sign, but the contract to purchase the ambulance with the ambulance company, I've never signed. But we've given,
Dennis, you got 2 cents to add to this?
Yeah, 5 cents actually, don't make
Five.
anything anymore. For Charlie, you may not sign off on it, but you at least know about it prior to, don't you?
oh, absolutely.
Right, they have
Yeah,
your,
you actually have to have minutes, like for the
So
bank.
you're acting as the city council, let's say, and you know ahead of time that there's gonna be 2 ambulances purchased. You
Yeah.
give your approval, and then your second in command goes ahead and signs the paperwork for it. So that's kind of like the city council and city manager. That manager's not gonna do anything unless you know about it ahead of time. That's spending your money.
100%.
right.
So how do we-
100%.
How do we
But
spell
the
that?
difference is the mayor is not here every day, maybe gone on vacation for 2 weeks, and some contracts need to be signed that have been approved, discussed ad nauseum, and approved by the city council to be signed.
So why can't you
Right.
say the city manager with approval and direction by the city council, they sign contracts on behalf of the city?
wait, where are we?
10, I think.
Well, we're still, yeah, 10.
I don't, the way 10 is right now.
It says
doesn't
share the
even-
authority
shouldn't
to
even be there.
contract with.
Yeah, I think 10 deals specifically with the city attorney, but it brings up a really good question about contracts in general. I just think that we need to determine, it seems really important to me.
So we're on number 10 within the city manager.
Yes.
Are we the city manager and the city council shall share the authority to contract with and direct the city attorney. What did we decide to do with that one?
Well, that's what we're discussing.
I think-
Out,
I
right?
think- Yeah, I don't,
We're discussing whether or not the city manager should be able to contract with anybody, but, you know,
Not on their own, yeah.
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 but I think when authorized by the council and directed, when authorized and directed by the council,
Mhm.
so the council can say, you sign the contract, or you can sign that bond, or you can, the council may say, no, you're not gonna sign that. So the council can authorize something and decide that the mayor or the mayor and, or the whole council signs it.
So even though this particular subclause deals with the city attorney, do we want to change it to just cover contracts in general?
I think so.
When authorized by the city council,
No, I think.
The city manager,
the city manager,
when authorized
Yeah.
and
the
directed,
city manager, when authorized by the city.
when authorized and directed.
The city manager, when authorized and directed by the city council,
Can sign contracts. period.
Shall share the authority?
No.
No.
No?
Because the council's already determined the contract.
Okay,
Okay,
so-
we sign.
How about putting in a section, say, the mayor shall sign all contracts of the city except. So then you're putting it on the mayor when authorized by the city council.
Well, no, then you're
Except
giving, then you're giving sole authority to the mayor to sign. I
Yeah,
think you want the council.
yeah, the council,
The
yeah.
council, because council is all the people and.
Yeah, but then you run into the problem, okay, so you need a contract signed, you gotta have everybody. on the
Okay, here's my
council.
confusion.
That's a pain in the neck.
Number
No,
10
but
is
they
worrying
can
about
offer
dealing with the city attorney. We're not it doesn't talk about signing contracts in here.
It does, it says,
Where?
the very first line, the city
Yeah.
manager, and the city council shall share the authority
Authority
to
to
contract with. So-
Indirect,
But
That's
that's
why we're
with a
talking-
particular person, just the city
Right.
attorney.
Yeah.
But I think I personally think we need to talk about contracts.
Yeah, that's why I said that we should have put that into the section on city council. And it stems from section 10 of the old charter, the one we're working under. And it says specifically, the council has the authority to, except as otherwise authorized, the Board of Aldermen, the language is in there, for enacting all ordinances and bylaws
Right here.
and the awarding of any contracts, the appointments of any officers or committees, et cetera, et cetera. So it actually is talking about the mayor having to approve it, but the Board of Aldermen first has to either enact the ordinance or award the contract. So it's the council that awards the contract. And it has always been up until now, the
yeah,
council.
you could put it under the powers and duties of the city council. And then leave it generic as to
Who signs?
who signs, yeah,
I mean,
because
that's
the council can authorize the city manager to sign, they could authorize the mayor to sign.
So then-
And if they're silent, then everybody signs.
Well, the city council though the mayor is part of the city council.
Right, but only the city council can give the mayor the authority
Authority
to
to
sign,
sign.
right?
Yeah,
So what we're
well,
saying
and
is.
it's the same with me,
Number
that's
10
not the
kind of
difference, I can't just.
Right.
put
Right,
something-
Yeah,
you can't just sign it
yeah.
without the approval
Well, the
of
board,
of
the
your
board
board.
authorizes you to do that.
Yeah. No, we have to have a vote
Are
first,
we-
it has to be in the minutes.
So in 10, really, the contracting part is not for the city manager. The city manager, you have to decide whether or not the city manager has a right to speak to the council on their own without permission of the council, or whether or not the city manager
I think,
has to
you-
ask
I think
each
you stay
time.
silent on that and you put that in, under the duties of the city council. Will determine who is authorized to speak to the city attorney.
So that would be number 10 on city council. We'll just add that.
But there's not going to be a shared authority to
No.
contract.
No,
No,
No.
no,
I don't think so.
no, you just get rid of it.
Yeah. And then if you want the city manager to work with the city attorney on something that's happening in the city, then the council gives them the approval to do that.
And that'll keep the bills down.
Dennis, your 5 cents?
Yeah, personally, I think that nobody should engage with the city attorney without the approval of the city council
Agreed.
at any time.
Agreed,
Agreed.
agreed. Okay, so now let's put this in words then.
Well, I don't think we have to, can we just?
Can go to what?
Can we just strike it? Just strike 10?
And remember it to put it into the council
Right.
duties later.
Yeah, we can add it
That's
to,
what we need to make sure we, okay.
Right.
well, so then let's add it to 10. Let's add a number 10 to section 23.
10 and 11, because we were talking about contracts,
Yeah,
and then you're talking about
city
city
attorney.
the city attorney.
Yeah. I guess if we do that now, sure, you don't have to go back and do it
Okay, so let's deal with it now so we don't forget. That's my word for
Okay,
it.
so 10 will be what?
Well, I'm only on 8.
Yeah?
Oh, because nothing, I have not gone through and renumbered. Okay. Tell me what.
Oh, yeah, we changed everything.
So after the
It
city
probably won't
council
be
shall
10.
fix a time and a place for a regular scheduled meeting. That's our last thing under city council. Now what am I adding?
I think we should start with the contracts.
Yeah.
Okay, dictate.
The city council, well, actually, I think we already covered it, don't we?
No.
We never covered it.
Yeah,
Okay.
the city council shall have sole authority
Yeah, shall have sole authority to award contract.
to negotiate, who's gonna negotiate?
City manager.
No, city.
So maybe we will put that in as 10. And for the city manager, and then we put 10 here, that they have sole authority on,
To
to
approve.
approve contracts.
To-
And, yeah, to approve contracts and may authorize,
Who signs them?
or,
Shall approve and sign.
well, shall approve and sign contracts unless they delegate that authority to,
How about the city council shall have sole authority to approve contracts and may authorize their, a signature thereof or whatever.
may authorize. Where did we- Who else would you want to sign a contract?
The city manager
Or the mayor?
or the mayor,
So
but
you,
that's part of the council.
yeah.
And
but-
may authorize,
But it's the council as a whole,
how
right.
about, and may authorize the city manager
or
or
mayor.
the mayor.
Yeah,
May authorize
To
the
sign the contract.
city manager, no, let's just say it as it is, or the mayor.
To sign the contract once approved,
as approved, yeah.
as approved.
Got it.
Authorize and sign, we still haven't put that
I think you authorize, the city council approves
Yep,
in. Yeah.
and authorizes, and may authorize the mayor or the city manager.
This is
sign
for,
the approved
The
contract.
For all
approved-
city
The
contracts.
approved contract, yeah. I don't think you need all city contracts, I think you're talking about any contract anyway.
Right.
So it could be collective bargaining, it could be.
Okay, now that brings us back to
Purchasing.
number 10 on here.
And does that cover say fire departments purchasing a fire truck? It can only be the mayor or the council, the mayor,
Mhm.
Yep,
or the city
Yeah.
manager.
big thing,
But
yeah.
the approval of it has got to be
Right.
the
Yeah.
council.
Well,
Yeah.
but the signature on the contract too, right? Because,
That would encompass everything, bonds,
yeah, yeah,
li-
Okay,
loans,
now what about number 10?
loans, everything, yeah.
And then did we want to add this, did we also want to add to city council duties,
Yes,
the attorney?
yes.
yes. Okay, so that's the next one now?
Yeah.
And then we can eliminate that.
Yeah. Then the city council shall approve.
Okay.
approve.
Yep.
City council shall have the sole authority to contract with the city attorney.
Well, I mean, they're already gonna do that, because they're gonna hire
Sole
them.
authority to,
Dennis, how did you say that?
To approve,
to approve consultation.
How to say what?
Oh, sorry, about, the fact that the only people, something to do with the only people that should be contacting the lawyer is the city council.
Yeah, the the
Well,
city
approving.
council should be the sole entity to engage.
Or approve, or approve,
Yeah, or approve.
City council shall approve who may engage
Any,
the city
any
attorney.
contact, for lack of a better word,
You
with
can
the
say-
city attorney.
The city council shall approve all engagement with the city attorney?
I didn't hear you, Danny.
Oh, sorry. The city council shall approve all engagement with the city attorney?
Yes, that would be fine.
I don't know, find another word for engagement, contact.
city council shall approve all communication?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a better word. Then I.
Well, it's not approving all communication, it's approving who can communicate with
Right,
the
okay,
It's
city
not, it's
attorney,
who,
right?
not what.
Right.
yeah, great.
We'll approve all contact then?
Who, city council shall
Let
approve.
me put in engagement and see what I get for synonyms.
Shall authorize,
Well,
the city
but-
council shall authorize,
If you say the city, what? If you were to say that I'm in charge of approving communication to the city attorney, and I say, Mike, you can communicate with the city
Right.
attorney, isn't that covered? Or no?
yes, the city council, I think, shall approve who can engage with the city attorney,
Or who could communicate?
or who can, yeah, and it's,
The thing about engaging, I know like in employment law, when you talk about engaging, like engage to wait, it's like,
I like that.
because you're talking about payment. When you're talking about engaging somebody, you're talking about paying them. And I know like, or I'm pretty sure anyway, that lawyers work, they charge for any engagement, right? So I think that's why you want to make it very clear that you're engaging with them, because you're going to get a bill for that engagement.
That what usually initiates that is the communication. And that's a word that lawyers frequently use to define, how they get paid, communication.
I think, let's not get hung up on wordsmithing,
I think that's exactly.
because I think if we just put down what we're looking for, the lawyers can,
Yeah.
when they look at this, can
Good
actually put the terminology in.
So I'm leaving it then, the city council shall approve all contacts with the city
There you
attorney.
go. Yep.
Okay,
And then they can, but I think maybe,
yeah, we can be thinking about tweaking those words if we need
Yeah.
to. So does that mean now, going back to the city manager, section 40, does that mean we can now take out what we have highlighted for number 10?
Yes.
what did we, there was something else we thought that we might want to stick in there. I didn't write it down, I should have.
Well, under the, what the council can do, we might want to put the right for the city council to retain additional counsel as needed. So it's not just one attorney. There were arguments made at one point whether or not the council had the right to hire a second attorney, since only the word singular attorney was used in the original charter. And various people argued, oh, well, that means that you can only hire one attorney, you can't hire two attorneys. So you might want to you have there in the yellow, that the city council shall reserve the authority to approve contracts with the city attorney and to retain additional legal counsel as needed.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't go in where the city manager is, it goes into a a right of the council to hire a second lawyer for some other reason.
So can I cut that sentence right out of there and put that underneath? The city council shall reserve the authority to approve contracts with the city attorney and to retain additional legal counsel as necessary.
As a 13, or as a,
Well, I think if you cut that out, let me go, and then we come back up
And
to,
say, I think you could say, and may retain additional legal counsel as needed.
Yeah, you already talked about their right to do a contract, so it's
Yeah.
just that they have the right to retain additional legal counsel if needed.
so contracts, and then 11 covers all attorney.
this, okay, and so then, sole contracts may authorize the city manager or the mayor to sign. Okay,
Where are you putting that?
under city council, do we add that separately? Or, I was thinking that after 10, you put in that verbiage, and then it's followed by, the council has to approve.
10 just says any contract, not specific to
All
the city
contacts
attorney.
with the city attorney.
Contracts,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then 11 is
11
the
city
attorney's.
attorney.
City
10
attorney.
10 is just contracts, period.
Right, so then after 10, number 11 becomes, the city council shall reserve the authority to approve contracts with the city attorney and to retain additional legal counsel as needed. Number 12 is going to say, the city council shall approve all contracts. No, all contacts, sorry, bad word. The city council shall approve all contacts with the city attorneys.
I think that can all be
Attorney.
11, can't it? Because it's all just talking about.
Put it all on 11? Yeah, I think
Anything to do
you're
with the city attorney.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes.
So then this space,
But on the retained part, instead of putting a two there, I would put a may there.
okay, 1 second, get rid of that highlight. Put a may, shall, to approve, shall reserve the authority to approve contracts
And with the city attorney, and may retain additional legal.
and may.
Actually, you really don't need the city council shall reserve the authority to approve contracts.
Yeah.
You already said that
Yeah,
already,
right.
somewhere else. It's really that they
It's saying the city council shall,
reserve the authority to retain additional legal counsel.
yeah.
But did we say it somewhere else that they can approve it? Well, because
Well,
it's a contract.
right.
They can approve, they have the right to do all contracts.
So we don't even need that part
Right.
then.
You probably don't even need the need to,
Because in number 10, we're saying that they have the authority to approve contracts. Got it.
So, and on back to city manager, we just get rid of 10.
Yeah.
Total.
And then on city council, number 11 is going to read, the city attorney. No,
Hmm?
no.
wait a minute. I gotta get that back. The city attorney, the city council shall reserve the authority to, we don't need that part. So the city council shall, no, the city council may retain additional legal counsel. Is that the part we
As
want?
needed, yeah.
Yeah, and may retain additional legal counsel as needed.
City council may retain additional legal counsel as needed. City council may retain additional legal counsel as needed, period. The city council shall approve all contacts with the city attorneys.
Yeah.
Okay, attorney to attorneys, IES. Okay.
Or you could just say any city attorney
With any,
instead of attorney, because if you put attorneys, you're saying you're going to fire them all together.
City council may retain additional legal counsel as needed. The city council shall approve all contacts with any city attorney.
Yeah, see, we had a big problem with that recently. When the mayor, we just go and retain legal counsel without the council's advice and running up some
Big time bills.
pretty enormous bills. So this kind of restricts that.
Are you okay with all that now? Dennis, does that sound okay to you?
So you haven't been here long enough to know the
It does.
show that went on here for the last 4 years.
I keep hearing like allusions to it, and I want like somebody to like sit me down and just give me all the, the details.
It'll take a day, probably.
I'll buy the coffee.
It's
Sit
been-
down with Mike first and talk to him about the issues they went through in Coventry with their city clerk. Town clerk.
I'm
and
gonna be
treasurer.
buying a lot of
I think the
coffee.
whole Northeast Kingdom gets all worried because of what Coventry went through.
Well, but it's clear
It's
that
history.
like all of this process and like people's feelings about the charter come from somewhere. It's not, they don't exist in a
You're giving
vacuum.
that-
It's experience, so you try not to, shame
Not
on you
repeat
if you
history.
allow this to
Happen
happen
again.
Because it's
Exactly.
already happened once, so that's doing your due diligence.
So what I can, a little
Draw from
history.
that.
Mike grew up here, Charlie and I grew up here. Travis did not, Dennis grew up here, you're new. Mike moved from Newport to Coventry, but is a business owner here in Newport. Ann and Pam miss, I don't know if they've missed more than 3 meetings ever in their lives since living here in Newport for the last 15, so they have that reference. So when we're doing this hard work and trying to make a really good document, we've got a lot of expertise and
A lot of experience.
resources in
Yeah.
here, in this room, with this process. I particularly kind of like the way this process.
And public input like this just never happened. I mean,
No,
Yeah.
not like this, right?
like this banner back and forth.
It doesn't happen
Sometimes
very
it's
often.
good, it makes for much longer meetings, but it saves going through everything and then saying, well, but, and then having to go back to it, so that's probably.
So can we go back, sorry.
Speaking of which,
So now when we are looking at the city manager, can we take number 10 as it's written here right out? Have we-
Yes.
Yep.
We've looked at everything. That means there's just an 11 and a 12.
yep,
The city, the city manager shall see that all laws, provisions of this charter, and acts of the city, subject to enforcement by enforcement of the city manager or by officers subject to the city manager's directions.
So I think you want to change, don't you want to change that to department heads?
Yeah, officers, change officers.
oh, to department, yeah, we said we were
We
gonna
changed that earlier.
Yep, yep, keep it consistent.
Other than that, I don't think there's anything too inflammatory about
Well, was I just reading it? City manager
Yeah, you
shall
went-
see
you
that
went-
all laws, provisions of this charter, and acts of the city, subject to enforcement by the city manager or by department heads.
It doesn't read well.
So which are subject to.
Which are subject to enforcement.
By the city manager.
Yeah. I mean, grammatically it's fine, but I agree it's not. It's a bit,
Well, the reason it's saying subject to enforcement by the city manager or department heads, because earlier you give the city manager the right to delegate that authority to the department.
Right. But what are we saying here in 11?
just that like they have to do their job.
Mhm.
Pretty much.
It's
You
just
gotta follow
basically
the
a
law, you
cleanup
gotta-
that, here's,
You follow the law.
But
and-
if the charter or the law says that this is your job, then you gotta do it.
so you expect them to follow the provisions of this charter and to understand what municipal laws are and not, because we're not gonna put them all in there.
Yeah, and it's not just the city manager, but it's the department heads as well. So the city manager has to tell the department heads, you gotta make sure you're following the laws, you're following the laws of the state, you're following the laws of the city, the ordinances.
Maybe we can shorten this down to the city manager
Okay.
So see that all laws, provisions of this charter, and acts by the city are faithfully executed. Rid of all that other.
I'm gonna cheat.
Yes, no?
Sounds good to me.
I think city managers, he
No.
oversees everybody else.
Right, so you can get rid of subject to enforcement by the city manager, discretion and supervision, blah, 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 blah. And then it would just read, let me read it again. The city manager shall see that all laws, provisions of this charter, and acts of the city are faithfully executed.
Just stop it there. The city manager shall see that all laws, provisions of this, oh my gosh. City man shall see that all laws, provisions of this charter, and acts of the city are faithfully executed. Well, that's short and sweet to the point.
Sure is,
I
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Okay, we good?
Good on that.
Dennis?
Yeah, yeah. Dennis, you okay with that? And then, the city manager need not be a voter in or resident of the city. And that is from the original charter, as much as
I guess I don't have a problem with that simply because, you know, I know we talked a lot about, like, what if we hire them from Tennessee? Well, okay, but what if they just live in Durham or, you know?
exactly, and, but, okay, so what about though, does this, we don't wanna limit ourselves to Newport, Derby, Coventry, something like that. But what about the person who says, oh, I can commute? Can we just say, well, we would hire him? I could commute from Morrisville,
From where?
Morrisville,
Or Burlington?
Burlington, yeah, that's a bad one.
Well, I think,
But we wouldn't hire them in that case, would we? Does it need to be stated in the charter
well,
where they live?
what if they are from Burlington and they rent an apartment?
Rent an apartment up
for-
here? Well, then that means they'd be living
For a
here
week, right, and then go home or whatever.
on the weekend. We've had
That's up to
superintendent,
their-
we've had principals do that.
Just as, I think, I don't know if you want to spell it out that there's no telecommunicating or teleworking or no, can't be a virtual
I think
city
they
manager.
deal with that at all in the job description for the city manager. I think we, because I raised the issue of whether or not somebody could
Just work remotely.
just work remotely.
No, we did. And we also, as Lori brought this up, we talked about the fact that she was saying one of the, I don't know if you put it in the charter, but one of the look-fors is a people person, because that's what we need in this city
You
right
need,
now.
yeah, you want.
But that's
to
under a-
Presence.
Presence, that's, I'm not sure that's a charter thing, it is a search, it is a job description
Yeah,
type
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So we just keep, maybe we just
Yeah.
keep it, the
Yeah.
city manager need not be a voter in or a resident of the city.
And like you always say, we don't know what we don't know. There might be a time in the future where a city manager could work remotely, at least for part of their, you know.
Well, if there's a snowstorm,
Yeah, yeah.
certainly,
So,
and we
I
want
don't-
that, yeah.
They might be able to teleport
That's right.
some, beam you.
All right, I'm fine with just leaving it as it is.
yeah, agreed.
Okay, then there was a B section to the city manager, and I think this, I'm gonna propose this is a good place to stop.
Before we get to the,
Yeah, that we start with B when we come back on Monday, and then on Monday, let's decide what our direction will be specifically. To start with part B of section 40. And then, if we go back to the original charter and everything we have done, we need to continue on from, if I have this correct, we have not had our constable conversation yet, and Travis needs to be here for that.
We're not gonna have to. I mean, can,
Yeah,
I have a text from him.
oh, okay.
So we'll
We'll
get
talk
to
about
that.
that later. That's the,
I mean, these pieces that we're working on are the three main issues,
we
right?
have three biggies, and I
Yeah.
think everything else now will fall into place.
Most stuff
or
will
make
fall
more
into place,
sense.
although it won't.
But I do think getting this cleared up
Oh, I
is
think
gonna
you had
make a
to.
lot of,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
things
do.
easier. So I really appreciate that suggestion. I didn't realize how pivotal these three things were until we started going through them, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is pretty important.
We should have in retrospect said right off the beginning, this is where we're starting. But, okay, it's okay, it's
Yeah.
okay. And, you kept saying, don't forget, we're gonna come back to refresh my memory.
I think we did it. We came back to 10. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it.
that was
So,
it. I wanted you to move the contract stuff
Right.
into.
Yeah.
okay,
You had tasked me a couple
yeah,
sessions ago with looking into what a constable, what's the difference between a
Okay.
constable and a
Police officer.
police officer.
yeah,
I did a lot of research, and I won't bore everybody with those details, but I can touch on that.
Okay,
next
so-
time.
Okay, and that's number 15. I mean, that's,
we've done Board of Civil, we've done 12. We have tabled city clerk and city treasurer,
and collector of taxes.
and we are ready to begin on 14A, collector of taxes. So
Yeah,
can we say,
15 is possible.
Maybe
for
your
next one.
next, I think the next biggest one is probably your clerk and
I
treasurer.
think so too.
Maybe get that out of the way and then
Or save it to the end?
I'm open to whatever you
Is
want to
there
do.
anything in clerk and treasurer that will tie into other part? I mean, it seems like if we get clerk and treasurer sorted out, then we might have even less work to do on the rest. How much do you think?
I think personally the other things we need to sort out are going to be more closely aligned with mayor, city council, and city manager.
Okay.
I personally would vote for leaving city clerk and treasurer to the end. And you're really good at seeing the big picture. Does that make sense to you?
I think you need to expect some time will be spent on the credit limit and how loans are approved. Because
Purchasing power, all that stuff.
Oh.
that's gonna take a while.
I agree, I think so too.
Okay, so we're going to look at part B of city manager, and then we're going to go back and begin with 14A, collector of taxes. And we'll leave, and go forward and come from there. Now, before I can be here Monday, however, next Wednesday I cannot. But that's not to say you can't still meet. And what I was thinking was, Danny, I can give you editing power, editing rights to this document, and you can record on here just like I've been recording.
No problem.
Okay, so Monday we can do that?
So what are you talking about? So Monday is the 6th?
Yeah. Well, I say that. If it rains Sunday, Santa's Village is Monday, and I hate to miss Santa's Village.
Sunday's supposed to be nice.
Sunday's supposed to be nice.
Tell me about Santa's Village.
My grandchildren from Montana are here right now. So
I
I'm a
love
little
Santa's
tired right
Village.
now.
What is it?
It's in, near Lancaster, New Hampshire. And it's like.
All right,
a
can
little
we,
theme park.
so can we
It's like
adjourn?
a theme park, they got rides.
So if we set something for Monday?
Yeah.
Monday, we're gonna start with part B of section 40,
Yeah, I go there by myself.
and then we're going to
I
go
don't
back
need kids.
and begin with 14A, collector of taxes. And as we go forward from there, there are some sections like the auditors and the overseer of the poor and all those that are gonna get to be struck. So we'll be able to go forward and get a little more done, I think.
I mean,
So-
technically, overseer of the board has been struck.
Well, sort of, but it's its own section too.
Yeah.
I kind of have an issue
Yeah,
with the 8th also,
With what?
the 8th, which is the Wednesday.
Is that Wednesday? Or if you're not here on Wednesday, we can just not meet on Wednesday.
I'm fine with it either.
Either way.
Because I have my grandson all day.
Okay, then let's,
8:30.
You don't wanna bring him in?
You don't-
So let's
You
not,
don't want to.
let's not meet next Wednesday.
Make him overseer of.
And on Monday, maybe we can have some homework for us to do, so we're ready for the following Monday, to be as efficient as possible.
Okay.
Not rushed, efficient.
Well, Monday, or do you want to go longer?
I'm sorry, that's the second.
Or maybe go longer on Monday if we need to. Yeah, well, we do anyway.
We're going 4 hours.
I told him, I'll be home, and I will be home at 10:30.
Yeah, so if we put, an agenda, why don't we go 8 to noon on Monday?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Not so good?
No, it's just the last day the kids are here.
Yeah, you know.
But you know what, I'll stay for part of it, and then Danny can just continue on for me.
Yeah, I'm happy to take over editing at any time.
Okay, is that okay with all of you? If I leave at 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
and then Danny, you continue for till noon doing the editing?
I'll make sure to bring my computer from now on.
Okay. Thank you all very much, and
You know, there's something going on over at the court at 1 o'clock. The
oh, what are they doing?
judges, it started, today's started the 4th of July, 250th.
250,
And
they
all
doing
the
that?
the judiciary around the state are doing, the judges are reading the Constitution, the attorneys are taking their oath of office again.
Oh, this is the stuff I love.
Yeah, Montpelier, there's a lot going on, the Supreme Court and then the State House too. Well, all 3 legislative bodies.
Dennis, we'll see you Monday at 8 o'clock?
There's like 8 days where I'm gonna be
Dennis?
gone in July too. We're gonna run into some conflicts, and
Yeah,
maybe
I know.
having 2 meetings a week is gonna be a little too aggressive. It's also fairly hard, so if we have a meeting on Monday, and then we're trying to meet Tuesday
Well, I was
to
wondering
do a
about
working
that.
document.
That's a real crunch on you guys
It
for
is.
Tuesday.
Yep, it sure is.
So-
We did Wednesday because it was fitting everybody's schedule better, but I'm not sure Wednesday's the best second day.
Well,
if
you
do
know
it.
what, we're getting through the really tough parts. Maybe once a week will be okay after this.
Yeah.
But what's
The
the,
tough
what,
parts were-
I mean, do we have, what's the target date?
Oh, I don't know.
End of
Maybe
August.
go ask.
End of August.
End of August?
Maybe it'd be good to ask that at your next council.
I'll
meeting.
ask, I'll give it
Just
direction.
give us a target date so that we can.
Yeah, give us like an absolutely must buy.
Yeah,
Oh, I.
drop dead date.
Not an optimistic date, but like.
Well, I think
Yeah,
it's
I
opened
think-
my eyes here to be effective. We are having some rich conversation, we're making some good
Yeah.
changes, and there's a lot of input,
Yeah.
just around the table and with you, Lee, and you,
So-
and Pam, and Jennifer.
I don't know.
Happy with the
I
process,
don't-
are you happy with the process?
I'm happy with the process so far. And, you know, I just think at the end, we're gonna have a little bit of difficulty on how to put it into an amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when we'll do what we can, and maybe Mike can consult back, we might have to ask Mike to consult with his former colleagues and say,
No, there's still
this is
one.
what we're doing, what do we need to do?
When do you?
January.
Oh, you're still there?
My term ends in January.
Oh.
But there's no
That's-
meetings until then, are there? Or do you have
Well, there's no session, but
session?
I'm still a legislator, so they have to respond to me.
That's a good one. Okay, let me see.
Otherwise, once I become a private again, it's like.
So we have, so what you're saying is we have